I think we're live. Is that right? All right. Hello, guys. What's going on? I want to just really quickly just say how much I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your evenings to come hang out, come talk, come chat, and watch some Sonic Unleashed coverage. As you guys may or may not be made aware, if you guys saw my last video, Sonic Unleashed has been officially recompiled for the PC. It really goes to show that Sonic fans really will go to any length to get what they want. And I thought that, this was the greatest time. There's no better time than right now, the present, to really get into this and to really showcase it while it's hot and fresh. Now, really quickly, I'm also just I'm gonna be doing a little bit back and forth here because remember, yeah, this is live. Just making sure that the audio is mixed up all right. I spent like 2 to 3 hours last night just making sure all this is fine. So it sounds great on my end, guys. Let me know how it's going. How's it going, Dan, Kenneth, Dominic? Hope you guys are all doing well. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. So just a little bit of background. Sonic Unleashed released back on the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3, the Nintendo Wii, the PlayStation 2, and BlackBerry Verizon phone devices back in 2008. Those last two devices I mentioned are very niche. A lot of people are very unaware of that. This released in 2008, 2 years following the dreaded Sonic the Hedgehog 2006, following the 15th anniversary of Sonic the Hedgehog. Sega realized, we've really screwed up and we kind of have to win back the trust of everybody, and they came up with Sonic Unleashed, and it was a very at the time polarizing title, a very polarizing experience because, well, Sega needed to win a lot of trust back with Sonic, and their answer to that risk was, let's make it so that Sonic turns into a werewolf when the sun goes down. Very edgy, very edgy, edgy the hedgy, indeed. But you know what? This is kind of, the game's kind of adapted a cult following over the past, 14 years? No, longer than that now. It's 2025. It's been 17 years since Sonic Unleashed's release, and there's never been a port to the PC since then. The best version you can do is nowadays on your Xbox Series X. The best way you can experience Sonic Unleashed is playing your original Xbox 360 version on more modern Xbox hardware. But that's not available to everybody, unfortunately. And if you got the PlayStation version, you're kind of shit out of luck, just to say it as it is. Now, there are emulators like Xenia for your Xbox 360 or RCPCS3 for your PlayStation 3. That's how I got to experience my original 360 copy of Sonic Unleashed. I put it through Xenia about 8 or 9 months ago, and I got to re-experience Sonic Unleashed, which is great. But like I mentioned at the beginning of this, someone created a tool that is capable of reading any really Xbox 360 ISO, but designed it solely for Sonic Unleashed so that there's an entire installer and everything for getting this game completely set up, DLC, and everything. Now, considering the fact that I have gone through this process on my own PC, I wasn't going to just uninstall the game and then go through the entire process again and then have us kind of wait in awkwardness while the game installs itself. So we're going to be taking a look at what exactly the experience is like when you're using the Unleashed recompiled tool and getting Sonic Unleashed set up on your PC. Now, this footage is brought to you by Digital Foundry. We're just going to be taking a really quick look at this. As you guys can see over here, it's just a super seamless process, really awesome. It just asks you to find your game files as well as your DLC and everything. So it's going to talk about the game and then the title updates, and then you can add as many or as little DLCs as you would like. It's really just as simple as that. And then as you guys select the files, it's going to just begin installing pretty much just as normal, and it creates its own Unleashed executable file, and it launches just as any ordinary PC port of any game, Sonic or unrelated. And this is insane. This is kind of mind-blowing to a lot of people because we were very certain at this point that we just were never going to get a Sonic Unleashed port for the PC. And I'm still kind of in shock at the fact that this is a reality. Give me 1 second. Wow. I'm yapping right now, and I'm all over the place. So I need some water. Bro needs to hydrate. But yeah, if you guys have your own copy of Sonic Unleashed for the Xbox 360 and you want to experience it in the best way possible through your own PC, if you have the specs to run it, and if you don't have an Xbox Series X, I think is what it is as of right now. This is the most convenient, the most streamlined, best way to experience a game that still holds up beautifully to this day, graphically, mechanically. It's what I still consider to be one of the greatest Sonic games, modern Sonic games at least, modern 3D Sonic games to exist. And I'm just super appreciative of the fact that we get to experience it. Now, I want to give a really quick disclaimer in terms of how we're going to be experiencing Sonic Unleashed. Because this is on PC, there's going to be I believe two mods that we're going to be using while experiencing this. One of them is just an aesthetic difference, which is just going to be Sonic both in his daytime and nighttime wearing the soap shoes, familiar from Sonic Adventure 2. I just like how they look over the traditional Sonic speed shoes. And additionally, we're going to be experiencing the Generations control mod, which basically gives Sonic tighter controls during the day stages. It makes it so that drifting is a lot more reliable, as well as you just have better control over your jumps. It doesn't change things like, for example, the homing attack being on the X button and being moved to the A button. That's still the same case. It does affect how the stomp works. And I'm talking like micro terminology right now for those who may be more familiar with it. I know this for people that are more casual enjoyers of Sonic and Sonic Unleashed, maybe I'm just throwing a lot of technical jargon at you that you're not entirely familiar with. But I just want to get this all out of the way right now. So I appreciate you guys all bearing in with me. We got some viewers in here, guys. Thank you so much. This really means a lot. You're just taking your night with me to just hang out and just play some Sonic of all things. Sonic the fucking Hedgehog. I'm anticipating playing this for about an hour. At most, probably 2.5 hours. In all honesty, a lot of it is dependent on when my camera decides to crap out. I love this camera to death. It's a fantastic camera. It's not the camera that's the problem. It's the Elgato adapter that's attached to it. Maybe if I say Elgato into the mic, maybe it's going to cause it to crash because I'm using the Elgato cam link for my camera, but I'm talking into an Elgato wave mic, so it might send it back to Elgato, and then maybe I'll like get a hit on me or something. But I'm also using the Elgato Stream Deck. Now at this point, it just sounds like I'm sponsored by them. I swear to God I'm not. But it would actually save a lot of cash in my pocket if I were. That would be pretty cool. Elgato, if you're seeing this, please help a brother out. That would be fantastic. Now I'm going to get this loaded up right here, guys. Now let me know in the chat if you guys are familiar with Sonic Unleashed. Have you played it before? Have you been intrigued on playing it at any point? What have you thought of it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you think it's one of the worst Sonic games of all time? Do you think it's one of the best Sonic games of all time? That would be fantastic to know. But we are going to get this launched up, guys. I'm super excited. Are you excited? Are you excited? Because I'm in a pretty good mood. I'm pretty excited. So let's experience this together, guys. This is gonna be a good time. All right, so here we are, guys. Sonic Unleashed. We are here. It is time to play. And yeah, let's just get right into it. Now, because this is now a PC port of sorts, we now have an additional option that to a lot of longtime Sonic Unleashed players will think is so amazing to have, and that is the options tab on the main menu. It sounds like baseline things that you would come to expect in any video game, I know. But when you're a Sonic fan, the things that are very normal and expected of just traditional game design, when it happens, you get pretty excited. All things considered, because it's not normal. It really just isn't normal for Sonic games to get the same respect, same design, fundamentals and philosophies as you would, as any other game would receive. So it's super assuring to be having this option. And there we go, guys. There it is. The camera has frozen. The camera is now frozen, and I think we're just going to be stuck in limbo like this. Isn't that wonderful? I can see I can see if there's anything I can do about this. Probably not. But you know what? We're gonna figure this out together. It's been a while since I've been doing some live stuff, so you know what? I can't say I was the most prepared for when it comes to this, but if you just bear with me for 1 second, I'm going to see if I can get this to fix. Just give me 1 minute. Yes, Kyle, shout out OBS indeed. All right, we're going to figure this out in real time. So if I were to go here and then I were to click this, then go here, click that, and then do that, and then reactivate that. It doesn't fix it. How about that? Oh, you know what? It actually just makes it disappear entirely. How about that? Ain't that something, guys? I love OBS. If you guys love OBS, put some ones in the chat. How about that? Let's get some engagement going while I troubleshoot something that should never need to be troubleshot. Oh, how about that? It's really just as simple as unplugging it and plugging it back in because of course, it's just that easy. Oh wow, we got a lot of people in here. Wow. Oh my good guys, guys, you're, oh my goodness, great. What? Well, we got so many people in here. Man, okay, so we've had a lot of people in here since I started. But really quickly, just so we're not throwing things off. Just so things aren't getting thrown off of track, I'm going to quickly go through the options stuff, just because I want this to be a full-fledged overview of what you come to expect if you want to experience Sonic Unleashed in the best way possible. Now, we've got our basic system settings and everything here. You can actually change how the daytime transitions go. If you're more familiar with the Xbox 360, sometimes a cutscene will play when you're transitioning from the day to night, where Sonic will actually transform live in motion from either Hedgehog or Werehog. And yes, I understand how stupid and corny it sounds when I say Werehog without smiling or giving some kind of expression. I know I'm a longtime Sonic fan. Sometimes I'm not as proud to admit it, but you know what? Sonic's been on a hot streak right now, so I don't care. Let's keep moving on through the options here. We got the input stuff. You can adjust your camera settings, background input, say if your mouse isn't focused on the main monitor. Audio stuff, this stuff is fantastic. Yeah, please excuse the fact that I'm slowly losing my hearing. My master volume needs to be extremely low if I want to survive with my ears. And then when it comes to video, you've got all this kind of stuff. Now, it will warn you, because, again, this is essentially recompiled from an ISO. This isn't a native port. So, yeah, things weren't really expected to go above 60 frames per second off of this. Now, I myself haven't experienced too many issues going above 60 frames, and I have a monitor that goes native 165, so I'm going to be leaving it at this. I'm not going to be changing it here, and my camera froze again. So, you know what? I think just for the time being, we're going to turn this John off and just leave it at this, and then when the main cutscene plays, I'll try and fix it in my own time if that's even possible. One major thing that I really want to show you guys, if we go down here in the audio tab, it is the battle theme. The battle theme is exclusive to the nighttime stages when you are Sonic the Werehog, and it's combat music for when you get into a wave of enemies. Now, if you ask me, this is a very interesting, it's a very good music track. It's very good, but it's very repetitive. And the amount of times that you will get into combat in this game, it is ludicrous how often this game's, this game's battle theme will steal the spotlight away from the smooth jazz that is the nighttime levels. Because this game has a rocking soundtrack, and I don't want to take that away from you guys, but just for transparency, so you guys can get an understanding of why it's so repetitive, we're going to turn it on for the first nighttime level of the game, just so you guys have an understanding of what I'm talking about here. Now, with all that said, we've gone through just about all, if not all, of these settings here. And unfortunately, because of how Sonic games were designed in the late 2000s, up until actually 2022's Sonic Frontiers, modern Sonic games were not designed to have more than one save file. So I will be erasing my save file here, and we're going to be starting a new game. Now, I'm going to let the intro cutscene play while I do some troubleshooting, guys. Be back in a second. So fucking corny. Awesome shot right there. Like, holy. The cinematography, I just gotta say, it is spectacular in this. And I don't have any set numbers or statistics to tell you guys for certain, but I would say roughly, like, if I had to guess, I would say about 10 to 15% of this game's budget went into the CG cutscenes alone, because this still to this day is one of the most exciting and most kinetic Sonic cutscenes in the game's history, in the series history, for that fact. It's insane.
Sonic! I'm sorry. Really, look, go easy on me. I'll turn over a new leaf, I swear. Just give me a chance.
Well, this is new. Showing remorse, Eggman? If you played nice, I wouldn't have to break all your toys.
Gotcha.
What?
Oh, I've waited a long time for this.
Those eyes go crazy, bro, in that shot. My God. Shout out to Kyle really quickly about talking about changing what port it's plugged into. It's currently still plugged into the same port. I'm going to do some troubleshooting about it after the fact, after the stream and everything. So I'll just deal with doing it repetitively for right now. It actually just froze again as I'm saying it because this thing is just so amazing. I just have so many things plugged into my computer. I'll have to do some optimization in my own time. But, oh shit, here comes the transformation. Oh God.
Success! A brilliant success! It's just as the Gaia manuscripts foretold! The entity that was sealed within the planet has awakened. Now I just need to harness its power. Eggman Land will finally come to be!
You've really gone and done it this time, Eggman.
Ah, Sonic, that's a good look for you. Festive. So long, friend.
Oh, jeez. So I was doing some, all right, yeah, seems like, we're still good. I was doing some optimization there, and it seems like, it froze my game for a second, or Eggman's, escape hatch just really made my computer tweak there. Also, I just want to say it, I think it would have been the funniest case scenario if Sonic just flew right into the core of the exposed Earth. That would have made this game really short.
What the heck is going on? Huh? Hey, are you okay?
I can't eat another bite.
Hey, pull yourself together!
Huh? Huh?
Dear God.
Don't eat me. I taste bad.
You okay? Nothing broken?
Oh, I'm just fine. Thanks for asking, Mr. Monster Guy.
Mr. Monster Guy? Looks like things have gotten pretty ugly.
Yeah, look at those teeth and those claws. What's your name, anyway?
I'm Sonic. Sonic the Hedgehog. And you are?
Huh? What is my name? Ah, I don't know. I can't remember.
What? You forgot who you are?
Yup. I remember something falling from the sky, and everything just going all white. And then nothing. I can't remember a thing past that.
Uh-oh. Did I fall on him?
Oh man, what am I gonna do? What can I do? Where do I go from here? What'll I... I'm hungry.
Hey, don't worry. I'll help you get your memory back.
Really? You mean it?
Absolutely. I'm sure we'll find somebody who knows you if we look around.
Oh, thank you. You're the best, Mr. Monster Guy. I mean, Sonic the Hedgehog.
What? Oh man, here we go. There is no guarantee that this camera is not about to freeze again. Look at that! Look at that! I was looking right at it when it did it. How about that, huh? Oh, ain't that some shit? All right. We're done with the camera. We're done with the camera. I'm done trying to optimize this. All right, because now I gotta really lock in here, guys. Here we go. This is the first gameplay style of Sonic Unleashed. These are the daytime stages. These guys are going to move at a super fast speed, and it's just a matter of keeping up. And this is a lot of this kind of is just muscle memory. If you grew up playing the Sonic Boost games, then you're gonna feel right at home. And a lot of it really is just a matter of memorization on when to input and what to input at those moments, and just the key timing of it all. Now I would say this is not where the boost formula originated. This actually started in 2005 with Sonic Rush. Sonic Rush was a DS trilogy which introduced characters like Blaze the Cat to Sonic, and it was all handheld stuff essentially. And it's a very awesome gameplay style. It's mostly 2D. Well, when it comes to Sonic Rush, it's 2D, but this was Sonic Unleashed was the first edition to have it in full 3D. Now, also, you guys may notice we have a level up system here when it comes to Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic the Werehog. We're gonna get more into this stuff when we get into the night stages, but we don't have enough XP to really make a difference in any of our stats for now. So we're just gonna hold on to our XP that we've collected.
What do you figure that was all about? The hair and those arms and look at the Chaos Emeralds.
So, is this what you usually look like?
Yeah, this is the real me. Pretty cool, huh? Huh? Where'd you go?
Whoa.
This part's just weird. This is just a weird part of the game. I mean, the whole game is weird, and the whole concept of it is weird, but this one scene in particular, so weird.
Sunday Supreme is the pride of the city. The whole world can come tumbling down, but they'll still line up for a taste.
Hey! What about your memories?
Chocolate chip sundae supreme.
You said it.
Freak.
Enjoy it.
Man, Chip is without a doubt one of the most polarizing characters in the franchise. If you come across people that have played Sonic, they'll either tell you that they like Chip or that they despise Chip. I mean, just his design is so confusing. He has an onion for an ass. He's got these elf-like ears, these pixie wings, and the voice just doesn't really match the look of Chip either. Maybe that last part's just me. But everything about this character's design is just a big question mark. Now, this cutscene is prompting us to go and talk around and interact with some of the locals. Now, this is one of the big things about Sonic Unleashed. Actually, in other regions outside of the US, Sonic Unleashed is known as Sonic World Adventure. It's all just about a globe-trotting journey, learning about the different cultures around the planet, and you're experiencing it with Sonic as the audience surrogate. So here we go. We're just going to be looking around, and we can talk to all these people, and they all have something to say. And you know, if you were to really dive into all these characters' dialogue, there is a lot of depth here, and I think that there's and I think that says a lot about the passion that was behind Sonic Unleashed, and what they wanted to do to make up for the blunder that was Sonic the Hedgehog in 2006. A lot of people think that these hub worlds are invasive of the game. Personally, I don't think so. I think it kind of just emphasizes everything that you're doing in this game, the journey and all of that. And I think it's a really special part of the game. Now, you guys can see I'm collecting these medals here. These are sun and moon medals. During the day, there's going to be a higher frequency of moon medals that appear, and then during the night, there's going to be a higher frequency of sun medals, of course. Now, each medal that you collect will apply to future levels. So the more moon medals that you collect with Sonic during the day, you're going to be able to unlock levels at nighttime for Sonic the Werehog. And then of course, vice versa. There's going to be many more to collect of sun medals during the night that will unlock levels for the day as Sonic the Hedgehog. Now we've got these gates up here. Unfortunately, we can't really get past them, so we can't really climb up here as of right now. And we can't collect this music player up here either. So we're kind of just limited to going to this one level, but that's okay. No problem at all. We're going to just dive right into the first full level of Sonic Unleashed, Windmill Isle. Guys, are you ready for this? Let's do it. The blunder in 2006, Kyle asks. Sonic 06, notoriously considered one of the worst Sonic, probably the worst Sonic game of all time, considered widely as one of the worst video games of all time, though I think that's a little bit of hyperbole. I think that if you were to really sit down and take in the things about Sonic 06 that were legitimately interesting, ambitious, and promising, you actually have something that, while the game was unfinished, it's at the very least an ambitious game with a fantastic soundtrack, pretty impressive voice direction, and I'm realizing now that I just ran past some pretty integral parts, and brings me back to the point of collecting these medals. Now, Sonic Day Stages, it's all about running as fast as you possibly can from point A to point B. Now, when it comes to collecting these medals, you guys just see, I had to completely stop in my tracks and run into this tunnel on the side of the stage to find this one moon medal. Now, that's going to obviously affect my score in terms of the time in which I complete these levels. Now, that's incredibly infuriating. And it's just, it goes into the fact that you are required to collect as many of these medals as you can to progress through the game. And that's one thing that a lot of people really don't like about Sonic Unleashed. And I can't blame people for disliking that, because it does, at least when you're playing through the Sonic Day stages, it spits right in the face of what you're trying to achieve as Sonic, and that's move as fast as you possibly can and dodge these obstacles, destroying everything in your way and looking cool while doing it. Stopping in your tracks to collect these things, it spits right in the face of that concept. Now, during the night stages, once we get to those levels, that's going to be a completely different thing. But yeah, having to go over to this platform, I mean, it's not entirely invasive in this kind of circumstance, but as you guys saw with the moon medal at the beginning, it's incredibly counterintuitive of moving as fast as you possibly can. Even though I recognize I'm kind of just repeating myself at this point, but man, I can't drive that point home enough. And here's another part, quick time events. Quick time events are hit or miss with Sonic fans. Sonic Unleashed makes a lot of people dislike the concept of quick time events because, you know, Sonic Unleashed doesn't really pull its punches in terms of difficulty. this game will ask a lot of you. You're going to be doing homing attack chains like these, moments where you're going to have to do some sliding, and some quick steps, some quick hops, because there is a difference between just doing short hops and then full-on jumps. This is a very fast-paced game. So you're going to be on your toes for a lot. Quick time events, however, are some of the last things that you should have to come to expect in these, especially because in moments like, for example, this ramp coming up, the game freezes, and then you're going to have moments to put in these different inputs. Now, of course, in a level like this, where it's the introduction, they're going to be very forgiving, not so fast. But as we get later into the game, the inputs are only going to get longer, and the times are only going to get shorter. Now, you see I'm getting consistent A ranks. That's pretty impressive, I would say. Sonic Unleashed ranking system, when it comes to the different ranks you can get throughout levels, it goes from as low as an E rank to as high as an S rank. We're going to be seeing a lot more consistent A ranks as opposed to, or even B ranks as opposed to S ranks, because as you're playing through this game, you're going to be slowly unlocking more abilities like wall jumps, like the light speed dash and air boost, for example, over time. And because we don't have these abilities right off the bat, gameplay is just naturally going to be a lot slower. And that's going to affect your score unless you go back and play at a later date. But yeah, with all that said, we have, once again, another corny transformation. Who is the blue guy? Yeah, that's Sonic. Oh my god, it's T-Berry Wig! Thank you for acknowledging, Lemon. Haha! Do you prefer the day or night stages? Good question. Now, the day stages are much more true to what Sonic's nature is, and that's just moving really fast. And the Werehog stages... The Werehog stages are very much not the nature of Sonic. And we're about to find out one of those elements in just about 60 seconds or so. I'll go more in depth than that in just a moment. Kill that creature, says Rock Off. You come off as more of a dick ass to me. But that's maybe that's just how my brain's working at this hour of the night. Yeah, kill that creature. Chip. Just for example, I'm looking up in the chat. Matt says Chip is Brat, and here we have Rockoff saying kill that creature. Yeah, guys, Chip is an incredibly polarizing character. Oh my God, Mr. Incredible. Sorry, not Incredible. Fucking Elastigirl, Mr. Fantastic. I got two different terminologies completely mixed. He's doing it again. Look at that. That's insane. But yeah, polarizing is how I would describe Chip and all of Sonic Unleashed in its entirety. But here we go, guys. We're about to move around as Sonic the Werehog. Yeah, look at this guy. And he's got the soap shoes on from the mod, as I mentioned. Now, one thing about Sonic the Werehog, outside of the stretchy limbs and such, is that for the first time in a Sonic game, ever, really, and this won't be revisited until Sonic Lost World in 2013, Sonic the Werehog has a run button. I guess it's an all fours button in this game. But the whole thing about Sonic as a character, mechanically, is that Sonic is all about using physics to his advantage. You can notice, like, you would feel in the Genesis games and in the adventure games on the Dreamcast that gravity was your biggest enemy and your greatest friend. As you move down slopes, you would go faster and faster. Moving up hills would make you go slower. You're going to slow down. And it was all just about using the terrain to your advantage. Introducing a run button to a character like Sonic is completely counterintuitive to his entire makeup, his entire concept as a game. Outside of just the speed alone, yes, Sonic the Werehog is noticeably slower. And my headcanon as to why they gave Sonic the stretchy arms was to just, I guess, be a contrast to Sonic's powerful legs and fast legs when he runs. That's not, as far as I understand, that's not actually canon, but that's my headcanon. That's just what I've decided to believe. Now, there's more to, before we get into a full stage, there's more to just punching and using claws and also dashing. We can use our stretchy limbs to our advantage in grabbing ledges and going up vertically, which is great. Now, we're also collecting these records over time. We're going to unlock a sound library later in the game where we can listen to this game's wonderful soundtrack. Now, with all of that said, we're going to get into the first night stage of Windmill Isle with Sonic the Werehog. Here we go, guys. Damn, Sonic the Werehog, why you walk like that? Yeah, he be strutting his shit. For a second, I thought you said, why you talk like that. Now, that's actually another interesting thing. When it comes to Jason Griffith's voice direction for Sonic Unleashed, this isn't the first time that Jason Griffith has done a delivery like this for Sonic. For those who are familiar with 2007's Sonic and the Secret Rings for the Nintendo Wii, there was, in the final boss area of that game, you became a separate form known as Dark Spine Sonic, where that was actually the first time that Jason Griffith used this Werehog-esque voice for Sonic. And it's incredibly gravelly. During the recording time for Sonic Unleashed, Jason Griffith had to actually take several pauses in his recording sessions just to take breaks with how gravelly and how fucked up his throat was getting from doing Sonic the Werehog voice deliveries. Now we just had a tiny little wave of enemies there, and you guys were able to hear just the battle theme there really quick. It's a very short loop, very repetitive, but you know it is catchy, and we're about to get another glimpse of it right here, right now. Look at this, guys. Isn't this something? Isn't it so great? Oh man, I love this battle theme so much. Now we got this arrow coming up above this guy's head. Now it's going to execute a quick time event. You guys gotta do it quickly. You get a critical attack and you get bonus scores to your game score. Now these arrows are going to appear once you're about 50% or lower of your enemy's HP. The lower the HP, the easier the quick time event is going to be to execute. Obviously, if you leave more HP, it's going to be a lot more tricky to catch those quick time events. And it's just better to get these guys at a lower health as you can, because you don't really get any additional points added to your score if you say were to use a critical attack at a higher HP. And if I'm moving around a little bit sluggish right now, it's because Sonic right now has very little to no combat skills or any different combos unlocked. Now, one thing I really do appreciate about these nighttime stages is that you can move at your own pace, and you can go to the status menu. And now, for example, we can say use our XP right now to unlock a different combo. Now, we've got the donkey kick combo. Do I know what that means? Not in the slightest, at least not off of the top of my head, because I don't remember. If we go to skills, we can see that we have a different amount of combinations here. And yeah, if you really do look at what's going on here with Sonic the Werehog, there is a considerable amount of depth here. Now, you might be wondering, just from a concept, why is there hack and slash combat in and it's super slow and everything? Like, why is this in a Sonic game? Now give me a second while I sip my water, because I'm yapping like a damn maniac. Oh, yeah, how about that? Now, keep in mind, this game was released in 2008, and Sega was paying attention to what's hot in the gaming sphere at the moment, and because Sonic is kind of Sega's flagship mascot, they kind of see Sonic as, okay, well, he has enough of a platform that we can really do whatever we want with Sonic, and at the worst case scenario, people will just not like this one game. So we can get all kinds of gimmicky, because Sega sees Sonic as Mario. And I mean, yeah, in the 90s, Sonic was very much Sega's Mario, and in a lot of aspects, they still try to consider him as such. But, you know, it's blunders like this, and again, 2006, where Sonic very much is not at that status anymore. But again, the context for 2008. Sonic Unleashed came out at a time where God of War was incredibly popular, and all these different hack and slashes were making the rounds. So naturally, they just wanted Sonic to take advantage of the same opportunities. Now, did that work out for Sonic? Sonic team in Sega. At the time, no, not really. This game was not very popular, scored very low critically at the time. But I mean, but yeah, just like as of right now, going back to this game, I think it's aged pretty gracefully. People have come around to it, all for the better. And yeah, it's definitely not Sonic. It's not Sonic at its core. Stop, let go of it. It's not Sonic at its core, and yeah, it's completely different from what you should come to expect. But for what it is, the Sonic the Werehog's gameplay is perfectly fine. And, you know, if you've grown as used to it as I have and other Sonic fans have, then, you know what, you really can begin to appreciate these stages, because if you grow as used to them, and if you grow used to their level design and just how the combat works and everything, I really do think that when you take the time, you can genuinely play these night stages as close to a Sonic game as possible. Now, again, this kind of stays true to how the daytime stages are. You're going to unlock more abilities as you progress through the game, so gameplay is going to be sluggish during your first playthrough. Even if you are super familiar with how these stages play, you're just not going to have the same ability pool that you would have at the end of the game. So definitely coming back to these levels at a later date when your stats are much stronger and you're just more versatile of a character, I think it's definitely worth it. And when you go and replay these games and these levels to the best of your ability with all of your abilities, there's real value here. But yeah, in the meantime, these levels are slow, and not just slow, they're really long. And there's all these different cutscene pauses where the camera angle wants to change, and it's going to be introducing a new chunk of the level. And have you guys been able to notice yet just how repetitive this battle music is? I beg you to recognize how repetitive it is. Did you guys even notice that there was another track playing exclusive to this one country in the game? Have you guys even noticed that, or have you only noticed the fact that this repetitive ass music has been playing every time we run into an enemy? Because we run into enemies every 45 seconds. It's incredibly mind-numbing. Exclusive track. Yeah, my thoughts exactly, Matt. It's definitely one of the most negative parts of Sonic Unleashed. Yeah, and you know, we haven't even gotten down to everything that's really wrong with Sonic Unleashed, but I would say, just in us talking right now, we've gone over the majority of the issues that this game has. One thing that I really do want to talk about is just how beautiful this game looks. Now, obviously things look pretty polished right now. Okay, wait, just as an example. Look at this! There's one enemy! The second that the reticle popped up, the jazz just stopped playing. It's just one enemy, and it warrants this entire track change. Yeah, how about that, huh? Some Tom and Jerry blah, 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 right there. But man, God, what was I talking about? The graphics. Yeah. Even though I am playing this on the recompiled, and it looks very polished now that it's running natively on PC, even in 2008, this game was freaking gorgeous. This was the first game to utilize the Hedgehog engine, made exclusively for Sonic games, because at the end of the day, Sonic games are considered very short. And the levels are not very long. But when you really sit down and analyze the scope of Sonic levels, and if you were to really consider just how much ground you're covering in, say, the daytime stages, and you're moving incredibly fast, these levels are huge, and they needed to make an efficient and large enough game engine to compensate for the sheer size of these levels. So that's another thing. That's just another thing. The people behind Sonic Team who create these games, they have a lot of talent behind them. Now, before this track plays, I'm gonna go to the options setting because this is a blessing to have an Unleashed recompiled. We're turning off the battle theme because, dear God, I can only take so much. Now, there are special events in the game that we're going to see more of that will still utilize that battle theme, so it's not like we're just completely removing it from this game's OST. There's going to be appropriate moments to experience this, but for now, this game really does have a killer soundtrack, and when you're not playing the daytime stages, I gotta say, the nighttime stages really have some of the best music tracks, and I think that incorporating that battle theme as frequent as it is does a disservice to the composers and everybody who contributed to this game's soundtrack. Man, there goes my voice again. I'm yapping like a motherfucker right now. But it just goes to show that, yeah, there's a lot to talk about with Sonic Unleashed. I really do love this game. I grew up playing this game all the time. I didn't play it at launch. I didn't get my Xbox 360 until I think it was 2010. So I didn't get to experience this game until just about around Sonic Colors when that came out, or Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Episode 1. I did, however, when the game came out, I got to experience Sonic Unleashed for the Wii and PlayStation 2. Now, I mentioned to you guys earlier that, yeah, there were different versions of this game. And I didn't really go into depth all too much about it. Now, Sonic Unleashed for the Nintendo Wii and the PlayStation 2, they were fundamentally different from how Sonic Unleashed plays on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. The Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 versions, goddamn, were created internally by Sonic Team. The same people that are just responsible for, you know, the mainline Sonic games like Sonic Frontiers, Sonic Forces, and the like. Sonic Unleashed for the Nintendo Wii and PlayStation 2 was actually created by the developers Dimps. Dimps may not sound like a huge company to you guys or huge developers, unless you're super familiar with the handheld iterations of Sonic. Dimps were the ones responsible for creating Sonic Rush, Sonic Advance on the Game Boy Advance, and I believe they got their start with Sonic, what was it called? Sonic Pocket Adventure for the Neo Geo Pocket Color in the very late 90s to very early 2000s. So Dimps really pioneered the whole boost high-speed formula that Sonic Team now polishes and builds upon to this day. Now considering that, Dimps at the time of Sonic Unleashed's development, naturally they had a much better understanding as to how boost games worked. So while the boost levels in this version of Sonic Unleashed are fantastic, in my opinion, I think that the daytime stages in Sonic Unleashed for the Wii and PlayStation 2 have a much higher focus and a much more polished focus on high-speed platforming, and that's even notable in the daytime, the nighttime stages of this game. Now, also when it came to the Nintendo Wii and PlayStation 2, it was also just the fact that hardware-wise, they were inferior to what they could technically output compared to the 360 and PlayStation 3. So while we're getting these really long, in-depth levels here for the daytime stages and for the nighttime stages, and we're gonna see just how long Sonic nighttime stages can get, because when we get to the results screen of this stage, you're going to just see just how long these stages can be, and they're only going to get longer as we progress. But because of the technical limitations of the Wii and PlayStation 2, levels were condensed into mission structures. So you would say, for example, play about 45 seconds worth of a daytime stage for Sonic, and then you would go back to the main menu and then select a different mission, which was just a different chunk of the country that you're navigating, to have those kind of pauses, kind of like a mobile game or a handheld game in the sense. So I would say that your attention is definitely divvied up more when it comes to those versions of Sonic Unleashed. But so I do appreciate that that Sonic Unleashed, the HD version, is what people like to consider this. Shit. Is what they like to consider this version. I do appreciate that there is just a higher focus on level design and length. I think that that's super great. And we're kind of just demolishing this end part of the level here. Yeah, pretty impressive. And you want to collect all of the XP you possibly can from these enemies during the nighttime stages because of how much slower paced these levels are. It is important to just kind of take your time, collect everything you can, especially XP. Now let's finish off the level here. This level ended up being at just under 13 minutes. 13 minutes and you still get an S rank for that kind of speed. In a game franchise where it's all about moving as fast as you can, S ranks are matched with 13-minute level times. That's insane. The Boog is back. The Boog is back. X, welcome to the stream. How you doing? It is the Boog. Thank you, Lemon. Wow, guys. I'm just blown away by the amount of support on this stream, guys. And we have 20 levels here to mess with. 20 levels of experience to give to Sonic the Werehog. Now, another thing to mention, I would highly recommend that you level up the Werehog before the Hedgehog. Now, obviously, you're going to want to level up Sonic during the day as you progress through the game because you can only carry so much boost when your ring energy is this low, and you can only move so fast when your speed is at such a low level. But you're going to be using the Werehog as a majority of this game just because of how long these levels are. Excuse me while I catch my breath and get some more water. And again, like I mentioned earlier, Sonic Unleashed is one of the few Sonic games in the franchise that doesn't pull its punches. This game, if you don't really lock in, I will say this game it gets legitimately challenging. And a lot of that during the nighttime is going to be based off of your strength stat. So we're going to level up our strength as much as we possibly can throughout this game. Now, we also want to make sure that we get a varied combat set because yeah, there is a lot of unique combinations to use in this game. And I think it just goes to show that Sonic Team genuinely has a very great baseline understanding of how many video games work mechanically. Because Sonic Team has made so many different types of games under Sonic at this point, to the point where for about 5 to 6 years, Sonic was really struggling to have an identity. So yeah, Sonic Team are incredibly talented. I'm gonna let this cutscene play out so I can just get my voice back because dear God.
Sonic, is that really you? That's a new look. What happened?
You know me. Never a dull moment.
Want some chocolate?
Thanks.
Where did you get that chocolate?
That's some story. I'll bet that means that you turning into that and the planet breaking apart are somehow related.
I need to find Eggman and make him fix this, and fast.
About that, I think I know someone who might know something about what's going on here.
Oh, really?
Professor Pickle over at Spagonia University. I came to this city to gather some data. If we add that to his research findings, we might be able to get to the bottom of all this.
Spagonia? That's a continent over. An easy jog if the planet weren't broken.
No problem. My Tornado 1 will get us there in a flash. Let's get going.
Leave it to you, Tails. Let's get moving.
Ah, there it is, the tornado, iconic. And this is the first time in Sonic history where Tails actually created handlebars for Sonic to hold on to while he stands on the plane. I don't even want to try and unpack how the physics behind that works, as Sonic's able to stand on a plane perfectly fine. Lemon says, you got 45 minutes left to get the world record speedrun of Sonic Unleashed. Yeah, if you actually give me a second here, I'm going to sequence break to a point where we get to the final boss of the game. I'm kidding. because that's just not possible. But here we go to one of the more gimmicky parts of this game that a lot of people really don't like. This is one of 2 tornado levels in Sonic Unleashed. As you guys can see, we're transforming into combat mode, and we've got an aerial fleet heading towards us, and we got to take them down. So how do we take them down? Not in the traditional way that you would in Star Fox or even in the original Sonic Adventure. It's all a matter of quick time events, baby. Just pressing the right button at the right time, and the game plays itself outside of that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty boring. I will say, yeah, it's just it's another way that they kind of overhauled the not overhauled, they kind of overdid the QuickTime events in Sonic Unleashed, because they created an entire gameplay style around just pressing face buttons. I thought there was already enough of that in the combat and the day stages, but you know what? I guess you gotta fill the time out somehow. Was this the right way to go about it? I don't think so. This is very much a mobile game, like gameplay style, where you can just tap the right part of the screen at the right time. But you know what? I guess as an arcade feature, sure. At its absolute best. See, like, what the hell was that timing for that one guy? It just moved at Mach 10 there for a second. I guess, like, as an arcade style mechanic for this game, yeah, sure, it's fine. But it's the fact that you have to play these levels to progress through the game. And another thing is that this is right at the beginning of the game, where after we beat this level, we're not going to see this gameplay style return until the final hour and a half of this game. So why even include it? Now, not that this is a mechanic that's revisited later in Sonic, but the development mentality behind this won't be revisited again until, again, 2013 Sonic Lost World, where they have an entire grind rail level. I know this is completely unrelated, so this is going to be very unfamiliar to people that aren't familiar with Sonic, but they did this again in Sonic Lost World, where they introduced one gameplay style at the very beginning of the game, and then it's not introduced later until the second to last or third to last level of the entire game.
Well, Sonic, prepare to be sunk.
Remember, Doctor, it is not yet complete. Handle it gently.
Silence!
All right, we got a boss fight. How are we going to take down the Egg Cauldron, this intimidating boss? It's just what we've been doing. We're just going to keep pressing the face buttons at the right time and make sure it's the right button that we're pressing. And then we occasionally mash the one to attack the boss. Ain't that something, guys? Unique gameplay. Now, we missed one input. Now, I'm willing to bet because we missed one input at the very beginning of this level, we're probably not going to get the S rank. And that's whatever. I don't really care. These levels I really never go back to unless I absolutely have to. See, I just pressed the wrong button right there. Now we're probably going to get a B rank. Ranks don't really affect your completion of the game like they do in, say, Sonic Adventure 2. It's all just about See, like, I pressed the Y button twice there, and both times it rejected it. It makes no sense. Make it make sense. If it's not going to make dollars, at least make it make sense. Please, I beg.
Fidgety little.
Ugh. Yeah. I mean, there's really not a lot to talk about in these sections. It's just quick time events, and it's not very interesting. Like, Sonic and Tails just stay at the bottom of the screen here, in the lower third of the screen, and you're just staying stagnant. You're not controlling the plane like in Star Fox, and it's crazy because, yeah, like I mentioned, in the original Sonic Adventure from 1999, there was an entire gameplay style where you were hijacking or breaking onto the egg carrier, Eggman's war fleet, and you were flying the tornado. You were manually controlling its direction. You were firing beams out of it and everything. you were essentially a fighter jet breaching onto a warship. And that was like, and yeah, it wasn't Sonic, but it was interesting. It was engaging. This is just watching and waiting for the right button to come up at the right time.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool! No, Sonic, the opposite. These levels suck. And now I think I missed a combined total of 3 or 4 inputs, but we've made it to Spagonia, where we can celebrate our B rank, probably. Oh, yeah, wow, I was right on the money with that. How about that? I wonder what the border laws are on Sonic's Earth, especially with the world collapsed like this, where Tails can just fly his airplane that can turn into a fighter jet into different continents and everything. But yeah, here's Spagonia. This is probably one of my favorite areas in the game. It's got some of my favorite music, some of my favorite levels, and the people here are just awesome. This is Franco, Professor Pickle. I almost said Dr. Pickle. Professor Pickle's assistant/intern. So we're gonna ask him where the university is, and yeah, it's probably the giant university right ahead. But you know what? Sometimes you can never be too sure. Oh, hi! Hi, no school today. Sick. You know what you should be doing? You should tune into the Zedlocks live stream where we're playing Sonic Unleashed. Here it's a pretty engaging and pretty educational stream, if I do say so myself, but I don't know. I don't know. I only subscribe, which you guys should do for engagement, by the way.
What? Professor Pickle's been kidnapped?
When did you say that?
A little bit before the tremors hit. This old
Indeed it is Raymundo.
And,
Or I guess Raimundo.
pack of robots. They
A whole
carry
pack of
Pickle
robots.
off, lab data and all.
Yes, this guy is also voiced by
That sure sounds like
Jason
Eggman.
Griffith.
What a horrible thing to do. We've got to go help that professor guy out, and fast. If he got kidnapped that long ago, he's got to be real hungry by now. And if I was that hungry, I don't know how long I would last. I'd rather be dead.
I'm sure Eggman is feeding him. Even he's not that cruel.
Okay. Let's go and find the professor.
Yeah, let's go find the professor. How about that? And let's also let's do a little fun countdown for how long it'll take for my camera to freeze again. Starting now, I'm gonna count in my head. Well, actually, I could probably use a timer here. All right, so I'm gonna use the stream timer. We're at 25 seconds right now, so I'm gonna take a look at that once I notice that this freezes again. So we now need to find the professor. How do we do that? We gotta talk to people. Oh my god, look at that. It was a combined total of 9 seconds. It took 9 seconds for the camera to freeze. Ain't that something? And you know, I was really excited to use the camera and everything too. I got a haircut right before this, and I was just like, you know, I gotta look good. Gotta look nice for the first live stream I've done in a very long time. I've been doing radio shows for a few years now. And you know, a lot of people have told me I have a face for radio. But you know, I never got that face prepped and ready for the camera again, and I was just ready to do it. I was excited. But you know what? Alas, no. Did you find anything out about the professor? Someone said the look in Masery. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go. We're about to enter another continent, and it's nighttime, and we are Sonic the Werehog, of course. And we're about to enter the second night stage of this game because we have to raid one of Eggman's bases and find Professor Pickle and try to learn how to bring the continents of the planet back together. As for this is a humongous planet-sized jigsaw puzzle, as Sonic will consider it as later on. Alrighty, so here we are. We're at the level hub. Now there's hub worlds and then there are level hubs for this. Now in the level hubs, we're able to use all of our moves that we have acquired as of right now. So we can use our full combat moves that we've gotten as of currently. And as you guys can see, we have a lot more combos now already unlocked, which are incredibly useful for getting through portions of levels just that much faster. And also just getting into combat more. You can see we can kind of Shadow the Hedgehog ice skate into combat here with this guy. Then just kind of slam him around like Hulk did in the Avengers movie to Loki. Spoilers for if you weren't alive in 2012, I guess. Skill issue. But yeah, there's a lot to explore here. Now, there's no way to really say this for certain because Sega and Sonic Team haven't expressed it themselves. But my headcanon is that Sonic Unleash's level hubs, not hub worlds, but level hubs, were kind of the foundation behind the current Sonic mentality of open zone foundations. Now, obviously, there have been different level hubs before, like in Sonic Generations, we had the 2D white space. Sonic Colors, I guess, kind of had like level maps of a sorts, but I don't really count it in that aspect. But when it comes to like Sonic Generations, like this kind of stuff has existed for years. But Sonic Unleashed setup is completely 3D. And I think it's super interesting because you can use your full skill set. There are enemies to fight in these areas. There's rings to collect. And there are different collectibles, either towards the story or just miscellaneous things. You can get experience points here. Like, everything conceptually and by technicality says open zone when you're running around in this area. So that's just kind of my mentality behind it all. How's everybody doing in the chat right now? Is everyone doing all right? I'm kind of just yapping as we make our way through this over here. Now, if we go over there, we're gonna notice that there's some other stuff here. We can actually use these pegs to wall climb up here and see what's going on over here. Now, we've actually got a live counter over here. Now, this works as a balancing pole, but if we were to come here during the day as Sonic the Hedgehog, this would be considered a grind rail, which I think is super interesting that they're able to utilize the terrain as multi-purpose functions. I think that's super unique. But I'm gonna stop sidetracking right now. Let's actually continue on with where we're supposed to be going, which is the next level. Here we go, the next nighttime level, Savannah Citadel. That's Sonic the Werehog. Here we go. All right, guys. Here we go. We can really put our new strength to the test here with these Eggman robots, as well as just these hostile flowers that seem to really not like us. But yeah, like as I said, if you level up the strength as soon as you possibly can, this game just gets super streamlined, and the nighttime stages really they genuinely do get that much quicker by just making Sonic stronger. So a lot of people like to complain about the length of these levels, and yeah, don't get me wrong, they are long when you're used to the length of traditional Sonic levels. But look, you can play them fast like a Sonic stage if you really know what you're doing. That's kind of my 2 cents on the whole thing. But yeah, we've got there's a lot going on here. This is the first level, Savannah Citadel, to really start introducing puzzle-like elements into Sonic the Werehog's level design, and I think it's pretty interesting. Gets you to think outside the box, and yeah, you know, it's mechanics like this that you can really delve into more and experience when you start to slow things down. Puzzles aren't really all too much of a thing Sonic can get antiquated with when he's moving at such fast speeds. So I think that this is a benefit of Sonic the Werehog. But yeah, we're just traversing through here still. If you guys by chance have a favorite Sonic level, even whether it's from Sonic Unleashed or maybe not from Sonic Unleashed, guys, let me know. I'm super curious, because I would say that Sonic Unleashed is responsible for for a good amount of my favorite Sonic stages in the franchise, honestly. But yeah, even though they do like kind of dig into puzzles for Sonic, at the end of the day, I don't know what just happened there. Sonic just let go all of a sudden. He decided to let go of all of his problems, I guess. But at the end of the day, these puzzles aren't really rocket science, not brain surgery or anything. Like these really are just as simple as grab the handle here, pull this block, and now once you get to this angle, instead push the block and make sure it goes on this button because something needs to stay on the button to open this door. It is kind of just stuff like that. But you know what? I'm willing to give credit where credit's due to developers that are actively trying something that's different from the status quo. You know, I think that says a lot. All right, here we go. Here we go. Got some more combat here with some more Eggman's robots. Sonic and Portal need a crossover. In all honesty, I am so there with you. I think that's super cool. Ever since they made Shadow the Hedgehog, because Shadow's whole thing is just teleporting in the blink of an eye at light speeds, whether that's through combat or just high speeds. It's super cool. I think ever since they were able to make Shadow work as a concept and he looks super cool while doing his characteristic things, I think a Sonic and Portal crossover would be super cool. It's got the physics and putting blocks on buttons. Yeah. And you know what? Especially in Portal 2, where they start to introduce the different gels and everything like that. Like, oh my god, like the speed gel. Super crazy missed opportunity there. I got to agree with that. That's a really good that's a really great suggestion, Lemon, honestly. That's freaking fantastic. I'm gonna be thinking about that now for weeks. I wish I was strong enough that Sonic didn't live rent-free in my head, but alas, he does. And that's just a consequence of Sonic being one of the first video games you play as you when you experience life. But you know what? No regrets. No regrets. Sonic has been there with me through thick and thin. And you know what? A lot of the time, Sonic has been responsible for those thick and thin moments. But you know what? He's come back. He's come back to show me to show that he can do good. Maybe call it bias fanboying, call it Stockholm syndrome. Stockholm syndrome is probably a much more accurate description. But you know what? I'm having fun with Sonic. I love Sonic Unleashed. I've been loving the modern games like Sonic Frontiers and Sonic X Shadow Generations as of late. That was a fantastic game. I mentioned in my previous video that if you guys haven't gotten to experience Sonic X Shadow Generations yet, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. You guys got to try it out. It's a fantastic game. If you have been hesitant on getting into Sonic for a while, honestly, Shadow Generations is the perfect way to get into it. Though, if you ask me, Sonic Frontiers is a better game to get started with, because Shadow Generations does build off of the Frontiers open zone style that we've gotten so used to now over, I guess, wow, this year will be 3 years since Sonic Frontiers, which is kind of crazy to think about. Wow, that is crazy to think about. I'm gonna start speculating about when the next mainline Sonic game is gonna be announced. That's gonna be an exciting time when they announce the next open zone Sonic game, and who knows, maybe it's Sonic Adventure 3 after all this time. A man can dream, a fan base can dream. But yeah, one thing I really love about the nighttime stages are these poles, like these varying poles and different, man, why am I blanking on this? right now. Yeah, the poles and the different acrobatic rails that you do jumps off of and you swing back and forth. I think that's super cool, and it's still a way to give physics and momentum-based platforming to a Sonic game that is moving at a slower pace. I think it's super cool. It reminds me of Super Castlevania and Rondo of Blood, where you kind of have those like lasso areas and like hook shot kind of stuff. I think and like grapple beams from Metroid. So yeah, kind of Metroidvania in a sense. Now that I'm bringing up those two games explicitly, but yeah, I think Sonic the Werehog has gameplay elements that make it detract from the daytime levels in good ways, other than the fact that the combat compared to games like, say, Bayonetta or God of War, sure, it can come off as a little bit shallow when you're directly comparing it to those two. But you know what? At the same time, it's cool. It works for Sonic, and for the first time that they introduced stuff like this, it's impressive. It's impressive to show how in-depth Sonic Team got with a style that they are not at all familiar with. So yeah, there's a lot to appreciate here. I believe every time I replay this level, I always kind of get a little bit confused here. So let's hope that this is the correct way to do this puzzle. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Probably is. Is it? Of course it is, because I'm just that smart. And now watch, I'm about to not be able to get up here because I just talked myself up too much. I lied. Me when I lie. But, now we gotta go over here for some— Fuck! That, you would be— Actually, no, you probably wouldn't be surprised how many times that happens to me. But yeah, that's another thing of just the enemy patterns, attack patterns with this game. It's not really easy to time enemy choreographed attacks because they're not really choreographed all that well, except for like the bigger, like larger boss, like mini boss enemies, which I think we're about to come across right now. I think we're actually at the end of this stage, unless I'm mistaken. No, we are at the end of the stage. Let's howl at the moon really quick. Yeah, what I just did was, I just, executed Sonic's Unleash meter, hence, the subtitle of the game. Sonic's Unleash ability is essentially just, a power boost that you can get in certain combat situations. It makes you faster. It makes your hits come out faster. It makes your hits come out stronger. It's pretty cool, I gotta say. And definitely something that is worthwhile upgrading. Also, sorry, I completely forgot to address this, but an additional mod that I have applied to Unleash Recompile right now is the ability to switch the Unleash feature on and off. So I have it so that if I wanted to stop using my Unleash bar at a certain point for whatever reason, I can just press a certain button at a certain time, and then that cancels the Unleash. So I'm not wasting any Unleash that's unnecessary to use. But yeah, that's all she wrote for Savannah Citadel. I don't know if this was much longer of a level than Windmill Isle, but I guess we'll find out right now, touching the goal ring. 10 minutes! Yeah. Another S rank. How about that? I love how the Eggman logo pops up when the combo critical of the enemies. Yeah, that's something that's really cool. So there are Dark Gaia enemies, which are kind of those like purple hazy foes that we've been seeing throughout some levels. And then there's also Eggman's robots. When the Dark Gaia enemies come in from the shadows, we're going to see those animations pop up more and more. And then when it comes to the Eggman's robots, they're gonna have the Eggman insignia come up. And I think that's just super cool. We gotta definitely put more XP into Sonic the Hedgehog. I've been kind of cooking with the Werehog. We're already at level 13 for combat. Oh my goodness gracious.
Professor Pickle! Are you alright? We got here as fast as we could.
Professor Pickle! Oh my goodness.
Sir?
Hello?
What happened to your eyes?
Culinary concoction food. Look here. Do you see this sorry excuse for a sandwich? The bread should be no less than 3/4 of an inch thick. Upon it, 1 tablespoon of mayonnaise and a pinch of black pepper. The contents, fresh cucumber, sliced thinly, if you please. Am I quite right, Tails?
Damn, I didn't know this was Hell's Kitchen head ass, bro.
Professor?
Pickle got that Squidward nose, John. Yeah, without a doubt, bro. He took all the real estate that his eyeballs would have otherwise used up and just put it on the schnoz, straight up.
I see. How rude of me. Right then, first things first. It's about time someone taught the chef here how to make a proper sandwich.
You can file a complaint later, Professor.
Let's get out of here before Eggman's welcoming committee shows up.
Oh, yes, quite. But let us be sure to collect the contents of that vault before departing.
Okay, yeah, sure. How are we gonna do that? Dear God! So is it safe to assume that Sonic just his bones are the bones in his arms are just fatigued and gone when the moon comes up? Like
After being fed nothing but those terrible sandwiches.
Want some chocolate, Professor?
My. Don't mind if I do.
how sweet of you, Chip. But where are you getting this chocolate? Another benefit of the PC, these loading screens are short.
These ancient documents are known as the
Alright, we're about to get some crazy plot exposition right now.
Of a disaster that befell our planet some tens of thousands of years ago.
A disaster?
Quite. And according to the Gaia manuscripts, this isn't the first time the planet has been broken apart into pieces. The cause lies at the very core of the planet. All the phenomena we've witnessed are the direct result of one creature. The hyper-energy organism spawned at the planet's core, Dark Gaia.
So how do we stop this Dark Gaia and put the world back together?
Luckily, Dark Gaia has yet to be fully reborn. We most likely have Dr. Eggman's premature wake-up call to thank for that. If we act now, we may be able to restore the planet by returning power to the Chaos Emeralds. Sonic, you must travel to each of the temples listed in the Gaia manuscripts. The planet's power will restore the Chaos Emeralds.
Dr. Thunder.
The Chaos Emeralds will restore the planet and help it heal naturally.
The world when Odie is on the table. Had too many eggs. Just found out my cousin is having a child. Hoagie, congratulations. That's awesome. Sorry, I'm just seeing that now. Sorry, I've been yapping for forever now that sorry, I haven't been paying as much attention to the chat as I'd like to be. So yeah, our objective right now is to head to the Gaia temples and restore the Chaos Emeralds. What's wrong, sweet lady? Why would you say something so cruel? Where's the smiling lady I know and love so well? What's wrong? What's wrong? Oh, I can't stand this anymore. I'm sick to death of this old poop's boring dishes. Damn. So yeah, so you guys may notice that there's these purple hazes during the night that seem to be putting people in a bad mood. When we get further into the game, a little bit further into the game, not too much further, we're going to get some more context as to exactly what is going on in that regard. But until then, we're gonna just keep exploring. I believe there's a sun medal up here. Is that correct? Yes, it is. And if we come up here, there's nothing else up here. Alrighty, so we are going to head back now to Mazuri. I hear people pronounce it as Missouri, but it's not spelled the same way that Missouri is spelled IRL. So I just say Mazuri. Maybe that's a mispronunciation, I'm not sure. And here we are, the main map menu. I made you this world map, Sonic. you can use the world map to travel to places you want to visit. You know, like a world map. Yeah, I don't know why people pronounce it Missouri. Yeah, you've definitely got it right, Matt. Missouri, yeah. Yeah. Try pointing the cursor there and use the left stick to move it. Oh, wow. Yeah, guys. You know that analog stick you've been using throughout the entire game so far? Yeah, I'm going to teach you how to use that again. Wrong destination? Shut up, Tails. So, yeah, it's just teaching you here how, what the icons are, the legend of the map, and how to navigate it, essentially. If you hold down the X button, you can actually change the time of day around the planet. You're essentially, you're just making the sun... well, I guess, you're just making the Earth rotate around the sun, but it's a little confusing in this world map. In this case, you're making the sun rotate. Our objective is to go to Missouri during the day, so we're going to do that right now, and we've got another cutscene about to play. Yeah, look at Eggman fucking attacking just a lone tribe in his free time. Bro has literally nothing else to do.
Fear not, my good villagers. If you all behave, I won't have to do anything nasty. All you need to do is tell me where the Temple of Gaia is.
We're not telling you anything.
Damn! Also, why did Eggman's whole ass skull make that broken vase ass noise? Hey, look at that.
Sonic!
Yo, Eggman. Thanks for that little skydiving adventure the other day.
I should have known you'd still be alive, you stubborn little hedgehog.
What are you doing out here?
I see no reason to tell you. In any case, I'm busy. Farewell.
Yeah, I guess Eggman built the steel. I guess he's made out of the same shit as Wolverine.
Is everyone here all right?
Yes. Yes. I love that deep yes. All right. So yeah, we've got we've got another Sonic Day stage ahead of us here. We're about to enter in. Now, really, okay, no, never mind. I was gonna show off a really cool part. One of my favorite parts of Sonic Unleashed, but it seems like we don't have that part prompted up for us yet. Here we go. We're at the level select area here. And again, we don't have the wall jump as of right now, so we got to come back to this later. Which, yes, means, again, I'm just going to emphasize it again, that there are parts of the level, of levels that we're going to experience for the first time that we just won't be able to access at this current, at our current state. But you know what? It's not the end of the world. That's what the replay value of Sonic games are for. No, stop. I'm trying to... Stop! It says stop it! Thank you. I just wanted to homing attack chain. So let's head into Savannah Citadel. Yeah, Chip do got an ass of onion. Yeah, for real. For real. Like, why? Why? All right, so here we are, getting really into another mechanic of the game here that I mentioned a little bit briefly, is the drifting. Sometimes there are just corners that you can't maneuver with a simple turn. You gotta really just break your hand to the ground and just execute a drift. And I love that part of these high-speed modern Sonic stages. These are freaking awesome. But man, Savannah Citadel, this is another fantastic level that really just puts your reflexes to the test. All right, here we go. Yeah, moving super fast. We already missed some sun medals, but you know, it's not the end of the world. Stopping our tracks here so we can get this moon medal. Yeah, just another example of all the stop and go that you gotta do if you wanna min-max your progress here in Sonic Unleashed. Now, I think it's totally reasonable to not really expect or plan to collect everything on your first go around, because yeah, like for example this book here, like you don't have all of the abilities that you would come to expect to collect as you get further through the game. So I guess going back to these levels and collecting these medals does make sense, but at the same time, you're not going to get to the areas you need to get to collect those abilities until you've collected the correct amount of these medals. So which one is it that you expect me to do, Sonic Team? Do you expect me to collect these medals on my first time around, or do you want me to go back later but end up having to replay the levels anyway? Like, you see where the confusion lies in this? It's counterproductive to what you want me to achieve during my gameplay, it feels like. But yeah, we are flying through this stage right now. And yeah, it seems like we're just going to finish the stage in about under 3 minutes. Hopefully. Hopefully. Collect this music player. There we go. Or this VHS tape. These VHS tapes actually provide you with more context as to what Sonic and Chip are doing as they visit these different continents around the world. And it's a lot of funny, it's a lot of fun, entertaining silent film snippets that are like really fun watches. I absolutely love them. We're gonna give some ring energy to Sonic the Hedgehog here and boost this up our life a little bit for the Werehog. Do you think the medals should have been easier to collect rather than physically stopping Sonic to get them? I think that when it comes to collecting the medals during the daytime stages, I think putting the medals in more automated and scripted sequences like loop-de-loops or quick-time events where you're already going to be going to those ramps would have made much more sense in the daytime aspects. When it comes to the nighttime, I think they're perfectly harmless. You're kind of goaded into exploring everything around you already because you're moving at such a slower pace. But when it comes to the day stages, absolutely. I'm going to open my second bottle of water here really quick.
Behold, my new power! Egg Beetle, go!
What the hell was that pose, Chip? Like, what was that emote? Now, Matt, you actually raise a real another point that differentiates the Wii and PS2 versions from the HD versions, as I'll continue to refer to them as, of Sonic Unleashed. When it comes to the progression for Sonic Unleashed, when it comes to the Wii and PlayStation 2 versions, you actually are not required to collect a certain number of medals to progress through the levels. As a matter of fact, when you're playing through the day and night stages of Sonic Unleashed on those platforms, your rank is actually dependent on how many medals you're awarded at the end of a level. So when it comes to playing those versions of the game, yeah, your rank actually does have some merit as to how much you're collecting actively in the game. Now, I had to let myself get hit there so I can collect that moon medal. But yeah, it just goes to show another key difference between the two versions. When you play Sonic Unleashed for the Wii or the PlayStation 2, it is a completely different game from when you're playing it on the 360 and the PlayStation 3. Now, the narrative is still the same, and fundamentally, Sonic can still boost, quick step during the day, drift, and then at night he still punches with his long arms and runs on all fours and all that weird freaky shit. But at the end of the day, the gameplay styles are very different. Bucci asking, so will there be a direct? Funny you say that. Today is Friday. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus 7. 12 days from now, we will have the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct live at 9 a.m. And as a matter of fact, you guys, hold on 1 second. I'm gonna let this cutscene play because I want to actually have the camera functioning for this announcement.
Is that the Temple of Gaia?
Let's check it out.
All right, I don't know how much time I have before the camera freezes again, but the day of the Direct, April 2nd at 9 a.m. is when that Direct starts. At 8:45 in the morning, guys, I'm going to be doing a stream. You guys can watch live and we can walk into the sun together. I'm going to announce it again on a video that's coming out on this coming Tuesday. I'm going to be posting a video and I'm going to be announcing it there as well. We're going to be talking about Metroid and all kinds of other shit during that video, but I wanted to get that announcement out there while the camera is still going. I'm still yapping right now. Off the chain right now with my yap session. The camera hasn't frozen yet, and I'm very shocked at that fact. But let's see how long that this camera will last for. Wow, I'm amazed. I'm amazed. The camera hasn't frozen. What is this? What is this? I felt odd when I played the Wii version at first when I watched the Xbox version on YouTube. I was bummed I didn't get to play the open world exploration feel of the 360 version provides versus the Wii. Yeah, when it comes to the Wii and PlayStation 2 versions as well, the continents that you walk around are just menus that you point at the Wii remote with on the Wii, or you just select with the analog stick on the PS2. You're not actually going through the actual villages or towns or cities, and you're not actually talking with them. When you interact with the civilians on the Wii and PS2, you're essentially talking to a cardboard cutout because it's just unfinished animatics with text bars that appear on the screen. It's not as engaging and interesting as it is talking to actual civilians while roaming their continent. I think that's a super huge missed opportunity, honestly. But yeah, there's another huge key factor of what makes the HD version of this game super special compared to the standard editions. I say standard editions, standard definition versions, I guess I'll just say. That once we get the feature to see here, I'll be able to talk more in depth about, because having the visualization next to the commentary on what it actually is, I think just kind of does a better job of driving home just how unique this game was and where their focus was on the themes and everything. I think it's super special. In fact, we might actually get to experience that right now. Well, let's see. So we got to go back to Spagonia really quickly and talk to Professor Pickle and let him know that we restored a part of the planet. I accidentally told Tails to explain it again because apparently I'm illiterate. I'm sure you guys aren't. You guys are all very smart because you're watching this live stream right now and you are subscribed to the channel and you probably rang the bell for post notifications and you're commenting in the chat right now, which you should do for engagement, by the way. But yes, I heard you, Tails. Shut up. We might be able to talk about this right now, actually. We can. This is fantastic, guys. This is, without a doubt, one of my favorite parts of Sonic Unleashed. The whole drive of the game is that you're exploring the planet and you're experiencing all these unique different cultures around the planet. And the fact that Chip is with you, Chip is someone who we'll learn more about his character later on through the plot, but what we know for certain right now is that he has no understanding of the planet that we're on, the cultures that we're exploring, and he explores that through food. We've seen that through the cutscene. He's obsessed with different cultures' foods. Now, we see that when we explore the shops, the native shops to all these different continents. We can buy all kinds of cool things, like we've got these photo frames, miniature flags, and these different carvings, and then we've also got the different cultural foods to each different continent. Now, when it comes to these different like knickknacks and stuff, if we go back to Professor Pickle's laboratory or observatory, or I guess just chambers back in Spagonia, these antiques are going to appear there. We give these antiques to Professor Pickle, and he just kind of builds up this collection in his office. But when it comes to the foods, I'm gonna buy two here. And then what we can do with the food is you can just collect all of these different foods, and when we go to our inventory, we can either give to Sonic or we can give to Chip. Now, if we give to Sonic, he's going to take a bite. We get 20 XP. Now, that XP goes into our status here. And you see we got a little bit of our bar filled up over here. Now, why is there an option to give food to Chip? we don't play as Chip throughout the game. What kind of experience do you get from giving it to Chip? Now, what's unspoken about the mechanic here in Sonic Unleashed is that there is kind of a friendship experience bar, a friendship level system that you can have in the HD version of Sonic Unleashed. And the way that that mechanic works is... Oh, cool, the camera froze. Well, it was fun while it lasted. Is that when we give different foods to Chip, he will give his commentary on it. That meat was tough. My jaw is all sore. And you can tell by the facial expression in the text bar, he wasn't a huge fan of the food in this region. Now, it's not the end of the world. The whole point is to get Chip acquainted with different cultures' foods. And I think that that is super interesting. I think that that is super neat. That you can just have that relationship build up with Chip. And yeah, he's receptive to different foods. So we'll give this one to Chip. Not much flavor. How are you supposed to even eat it? Yeah. So yeah, sometimes he likes it, sometimes he doesn't, and sometimes you get shit XP, sometimes you get great XP. For example, let's go back into the shop. Let's buy Sonic his favorite food, a chili dog. Well, also we're gonna buy all these other different things, just so we have them here. Strawberry cake. Chip is going to absolutely love that. But for Sonic's sake, let's buy the guy a chili dog. We're gonna buy, we're gonna buy 3. We're gonna buy 3. So if we give a chili dog to Chip, let's see what Chip thinks of the hedgehog delicacy. You like these, Sonic? It's a little too spicy for me. Yeah, everyone's a critic of it nowadays, but Sonic gets an absurd amount of XP when you eat chili dogs. Look at that. That's absurd. Every 100 XP that you get in this game is 1 bar. So getting 300 XP, yeah, that's 3 levels, and we did that twice. We have now 6 levels of XP, which is absurd. So we're going to level up strength, and then while we're at it, let's make Sonic a little bit faster, and then let's give Sonic a little bit of extra life, just to cap that off. And then we'll give some XP to Sonic's shield bar. The shield bar is super useful for bigger enemies that we'll come across in the nighttime. You're telling me the second I get here, the motherfucking camera goes off? Mel's, welcome to the stream. The camera has been going on and off since the beginning of the stream. I'm not exaggerating that when I say when I was doing stream prep all day yesterday. The camera did not blink out once. It was flawless for hours on end. And then I'm not even exaggerating. 5 minutes before the stream starts, all of this freezing camera wonky shit begins to happen. And now all of a sudden it's not working. But you know, I promise that by the next time we do a stream, I will have this figured out and all will be well. This little hedgehog had way too many chili dogs. You guys need to watch the live action Sonic movie franchise if you have not already. It is so good. And I say that both as a biased Sonic fan as well as just someone who enjoys high speed action movies. I think they're super great. Sorry, I'm checking my phone right now. I just got a match? What? Well, that's a side quest for me to deal with later. Let's go back to Spagonia in the meantime. Now you can see we're goaded into going to both Spagonia as well as this new region that we've unlocked, Holiska. Now, this is one of many instances where Sonic Unleashed really confuses you because it's telling us we can go to 2 different places, but if we were to go to Holiska right now, all that we can really do are talk to the locals, and that's about it. We can't really access any level right now because even though it tells you to go 2 different ways, what the game really wants you to do and what it's scripted to do is to go back to the capital and talk to Professor Pickle in his office, which means that we have to go back into Spagonia. We have to run all the way back across Spagonia's town, and we've got to go to the university and talk to Professor Pickle. And it may not seem like the biggest deal in the universe, or I guess we gotta talk to his assistant right now. Yep. So now that triggered the next part. of Holiska. But it's small things like that that the game doesn't really tell you have to do, where progression can get a little bit confusing. And you know what? A lot of people have picked this game up and put it down solely because of that confusion. I don't blame them in the slightest for that. Now, as you guys noticed, we couldn't enter the university. That's because we didn't change Spagonia to nighttime as well.
Found you, Sonic! Oh, Sonic, I've been looking for you forever.
This guy's voice is so relaxing. Robson, you have no idea how much that means to me. I've been told so many times that I have a voice and face for radio, and you know what? Every day I wake up, I look in the mirror and I'm like, you know what? They're so right.
Sorry, I just completely mistook you for someone else. That is so strange. I could have sworn it was him.
I'm glad the camera's frozen. You guys just missed me trying to take a gulp of my water, and I forgot to take the cap off. And you guys wouldn't have known about that unless I just vocalized that now. So who's the idiot here? Me.
I mean,
Twofold now.
Are kinda, you know, and these guys. Oh, I mean, don't worry. Hey, you only look really scary, Sonic. Inside, you're the same as ever. I guarantee it. Okay?
Wow.
Sonic, cheer
Wow,
up.
A1 wingman ship, dickhead.
Some chocolate?
This is also like a this is like a sub character plot of Sonic that they don't really touch on for the rest of the game after this cutscene of the fact that Sonic's really insecure of the fact that he's a werewolf at night, and he kind of hates it. He kind of hates how he looks because, I mean, for people that are really unfamiliar to Sonic as a character, Sonic enjoys looking cool and doing cool things. So yeah, it actually plays really well into Sonic's character that, yeah, he kind of gets self-conscious at the fact that he's that he has to look a way that he's uncomfortable with and he really dislikes. It's not something that's really looked into or focused on too much, unfortunately, throughout this game. But you know what? I think it's a super interesting character study of Sonic. But you know what? What are you gonna do? Yeah, beggars can't be choosers, I guess. And yeah, that's literally it. We walk into the office, we talk to Professor Pickle, we tell him that we did something with the planet, and now we have to go back to the world map, and then we go all the way to this new continent now. It's just like, it's just this back and forth that is justifiably confusing and infuriating. Yo, look at this tiny grind rail. What? Whoa, do it again. Do it again. Whoa, do it again. Whoa. Shut up. I didn't mean to talk to you. Give me that moon medal. So yeah, there's this guy who's also roaming around the planet. This guy is talking to a Chow puppet. Just a ventriloquist. This, we actually don't know the character's name. I know the name, but you guys don't because I've played the game before. How about that? Oh, we made it to the town in one piece. His name is Wentos. Wentos, you were nuts. Yeah. Man, Sonic, you're a dickhead. Oh, that's really funny. But yeah, after you talk to Wentos, he will disappear and then make his way to another continent. We essentially just want to follow Wentos throughout the planet as we're progressing through the game. We have a lot of rings, so I'm just gonna buy a bunch of these, honestly, and I think I'm just gonna have Sonic chow down on these chili dogs. Oh, I went to the wrong menu. How about that? I'm illiterate. Turn your face cam back on. You're getting bored? Getting bored? Ugh. Well, you just had to join the stream at the time where I mentioned that the camera is currently buggy. Okay, so I'm gonna let the... Okay, so if I just let this sit for a moment and then I put the camera back on... So I have to get up and physically unplug the camera and then plug it back in, and then I have to manually deactivate it through software and then reactivate it. And now bam, we're back. But for some reason, it will start to freeze again. And I'm convinced it is just solely a software issue. And I'm sure it's probably got something to do with the fact that there's a lot of resources being used on my computer. But at the same time, I am actively looking at Task Manager right now. Not even a third of my GPU is being utilized right now. Not even a fifth of my CPU is being utilized right now. So what's the excuse? What's the excuse? Huh? You tell me, please. I'm at a loss, but anyway, we ball, I guess. Let's give let's give the strawberry cake to Chip. The cream frosting is so good. Oh my goodness gracious. Let's give a cookie to Chip as well. Ooh, we like the Oreo, the knockoff lemon Oreo. How about that? I earned myself a treat. Aw, you're so kind. Thanks. I really appreciate that, Robson. Did someone say cream frosting? Oh, wow. But let's get a move on because we're about to get our first upgrade power up for Sonic. If we run across this water, which I'll show in just a second, we've got some spiked boots over there. But yeah, this is another thing introduced in the boost games. If Sonic is boosting and running fast enough, he can become Jesus Christ himself, and run across the water. How about that? Parted no seas for that shit. We got the stomping shoes. Hefty shoes made of steel. The spikes on the soles make them even more devastating. Now, even though I do have a mod on that replaces Sonic's base shoes with the soap shoes from Sonic Adventure 2, they are not cosmetic. If we get, every time that we get upgrades for Sonic during the day, there's going to be different aesthetic shoes, but they do not reflect in gameplay. So if we were just using default Sonic model, there would be no spiky cleats on them right now. It just gives us the ability to stomp down on the ground and press buttons like these. Little bit of I think a little bit of flexibility with customization would have been interesting. It would have been cool to at least incorporate, but whatever. Whatever. Yeah, but if we keep going around here, that's all the sun medals in this area. Let's head into the next Sonic Day stage. And as you can see, we got a key here. Wonder what that key is for. But here, Slimy Studios Gaming. Hello. It's a slice of Rygar and ZP. Oh my goodness gracious. How you guys doing? How's a slice of Rye doing? I'm glad you guys got to tune in. Welcome to the stream. I've been slowly losing my voice this entire broadcast. We've been going since 7 p.m. and good lord, and I swear to God, I'm not sponsored by water bottle brand, as you guys see here. But yeah, I've been slowly losing my voice. We've been cooking on here, but let's get right into Cool Edge in Holliska. It's going great. You guys have no idea how much. It makes me so happy to hear that you guys are doing great. We're gonna move on to supersonic speed here. Now, here we have the dedicated ice stage. Now, we've got ice frozen physics, which means that we're gonna be slipping around and running on a lot of water here, guys, moving at super fast speeds, just boosting through everything in our way. And yeah, guys, again, for context, I've got a lot of the level design in this game memorized, so I'm just gonna be speeding through a lot of this. Fuck! I got frozen. And my camera, and yeah, just like this continent with its freezing aspects, our camera froze once again, so we're just gonna turn that off. But this is another great example of when you acquire an ability in the continent's hub area. That ability is going to be used a lot in the neighboring stage to accommodate for the fact that you just unlocked it. I think it's really smart game design and intuition to really reinforce the abilities that you get over time. Here we got a gigantic orca that we're just gonna ride this little roller coaster John on, and this will not be the last time that we see this mechanic where we're on this sled-like structure, and we've got to maneuver. We can't boost while we're on this. This will not be the last time. We will see this. We will see this gameplay style return towards the tail end of the game. Now we've got all these different stalagmites falling down. We just got to maneuver our way through them like this, whether we're drifting around them or quick stepping out of the way. It's all reflexes in the daytime stages, guys. Moving as fast as you possibly can, get as short of a time as possible. and just keeping on your toes. Now, I do want to slow down here because, again, really counterintuitive. You got to slow down, collect these medals on the side, and then fly down again, moving again. And we're losing a lot of these rings because we're getting hit trying to do these tangents on the side. It's super frustrating when you're playing for the first time. Now, I will say, I have countless hours in Sonic Unleashed, both on my original 360 and even through Recompiled as I've been playing to prep for the stream and everything like that. I really do love Sonic Unleashed. I have hundreds of hours into these levels, and I don't know what just happened there. I've never experienced that before. That was super interesting. And oh my god! Whew, that was a close call there. I don't know why I didn't just bounce off of his shield there. That was interesting. I'm willing to bet and chalk a lot of these mechanical glitches potentially to the fact that my frame rate is set above 60 frames, as the game settings advise you against doing. But outside of that, there's very minimal risk to adjusting your frame rate. But what was I saying before that? Yeah, I have a lot of time in these levels, so I'm very it's very much like riding a bicycle in some instances of this level design. But at the same time, I'm also used to playing these through Sonic Generations. Sonic Generations came out in 2011 for the 360 and PlayStation 3 as well as Steam. And because it had its own PC port, people were able to natively port the levels, the daytime levels of Sonic Unleashed into Sonic Generations. So you were playing with a much tighter gameplay style and mechanics that were not super familiar to Sonic Unleashed. Now, because we got hit so many times, I got a B ranking, unfortunately. Pretty shitty on my part, I apologize. But you know, it's not the end of the world. Let's give a little bit of our XP some boost, as well as some speed, and then we're going to give the rest to strength, because you can never make a game too easy. But let's give us some shield for Sonic the Werehog, and then we'll give the rest over here. But yeah, experiencing it through Sonic Generations is definitely the better way to go through it if you're not super fond of the native mechanics of Sonic Unleashed. I know a lot of people aren't. For example, the drift mechanic. Drifting is a lot more slippery in Sonic Unleashed versus when it is in Sonic Generations. You're advised to be doing drifting without boosting when you're playing Sonic Unleashed. And you know, I think that does make a lot of sense. Because the whole concept of a drift is the fact that you're moving so fast that turning is impossible without shifting your weight closer to the surface you're on, and having to really give everything into a turn. So I understand why a drift why drifting and boosting don't really go hand in hand from a physics standpoint. So yeah, that's my little side tangent there. W's into chat. Yeah, that's right. Thanks for tuning into the stream, Ronaldo. Thanks for coming in here. Let's talk to the professor really quick. You can't get inside of the temple. Well, let's look at the Spagonia site then. Okay, cool. Thanks for explaining that to me. And now I can leave the lab. It's just that in and out of the lab stuff that's just like really annoying. And yeah, if you're playing Unleashed Recompiled on your PC, there are a lot of mods already that have kind of streamlined, I guess you can say, the progress of getting through stages, as well as even outright removing the Sun and Moon medal requirements. But I wanted to experience this game as close to native as possible for you guys to show off just what this game is like, but obviously with a couple of quality of life adjustments here or there. That doesn't remove the experience entirely. And if anything, just enhances it further beyond. So here we are at Rooftop Run, the Spagonia area of Sonic Unleashed. Now, we've got this area over here. Now, one thing that a lot of people don't pay attention to in Spagonia for Sonic the Werehog is that a lot of these doors you can just straight up break down and explore the interiors. And I think that's super neat. and it just drives home the fact that yeah, you're encouraged to really take in the sights as much as you possibly can at night. And that's a great contrast to running as fast as you can during the day. And it even raises more eyebrows as to why they have metal collecting during the day. Now, I want to talk more about the concepts and development of the nighttime stages, why they decided to create Sonic the Werehog for Sonic Unleashed. Now, obviously, while the stages during the day are incredibly large, again, you're moving through them and progressing through them at an insanely high speed. So levels average between 2 and 4 minutes during the day. And there's only about 7 to 8 mainline day stages. That would be an incredibly short game, even for Sonic standards, if they were to just leave it at daytime stages. So Sonic Team's decision through that was, well, you know what? If we add the Werehog stages to play in Sonic Unleashed, that will, at the very least, it will double the game's runtime, so players will have more to experience. Whether or not it's a native Sonic experience, well, I mean, well, we know now that it's not. But you know what? It's also, like, again, take it as is, experience them for what they are. It's fun. Sonic the Werehog, if you learn to appreciate for what it is, the nighttime stages are fun. And I just missed an alternative path there. That would have been a little bit of a shortcut, but whatever. Now, when it comes to developing the combat stages, now initially in the writing stages of Sonic Unleashed, originally Originally, Knuckles the Echidna and Shadow the Hedgehog were supposed to make appearances in the story of Sonic Unleashed. Oh, and that's what happens when you mess up a QuickTime event. You get denied, and then the enemies recover their health. Yeah, Shadow and Knuckles were supposed to originally be in Sonic Unleashed. Whether that is exclusively for narrative purposes or for gameplay purposes as well, we don't know for certain. I don't know if we'll ever get the answer, unfortunately. But it makes a lot of people think that when they go back to the concept of this game's narrative, that, well, hey, maybe it makes sense to expect that Knuckles was going to be the poster child for nighttime stages and combat. And I think that makes a lot of sense. But again, we unfortunately don't know for certain. They decided to just make it a Sonic-only show in terms of gameplay. And the decision behind making Sonic the only playable character. When it comes to 3D Sonic, this has been the case from Sonic Unleashed 2008 to 2022 Sonic Frontiers. When it comes to mainline 3D Sonic games, from Sonic Unleashed to Sonic Frontiers, for a collective 14 years, Sonic was the only playable character in his own games. Which, I mean, does it sound out of the ordinary at first glance? No, not really, because, well, Sonic gets top billing. The games are named after Sonic, so yeah, it's nothing too super crazy. But this is also coming out of an era from the early 2000s, super late 90s, where Sega really started to incorporate a lot of Sonic's friends into the gameplay loop, and not only that, they had their own original gameplay counterparts that contrasted from Sonic. In the old Genesis games, Knuckles and Tails, for example, were just extensions of Sonic, so they could all spin dash, they can all jump into enemies and everything, but Knuckles could, for example, glide across the air, he could climb up walls. Tails had, his tails, he was able to fly through the air and everything, more flexible than Knuckles, so yeah, they were all different from each other. And then when it came to Sonic Adventure, the characters were completely different in the stories as well as the level design, because they were catered to their original movesets. Sonic Adventure 2 completely flipped it on its head and gave us six original characters amongst 3 different Sonic gameplay styles. And then Sonic Heroes gave us 12 different Sonic characters to play, all across one unique gameplay style, but 12 original characters. And then Sonic 06. Sonic 06 Sonic 06 was a clusterfuck of characters. Now, looking with the benefit of hindsight, with Sonic Project 06, a fan project that you guys absolutely should check out if you are interested at all in getting into the niche, super successful projects of Sonic. You guys absolutely should check out Sonic Project 06. But that game incorporates 12 original characters. Not just 12 characters, but all 12 of those characters play completely different from one another as you're progressing through the game. It made for an absolute nightmare to develop and code. And also, it was just... it just led to a lack of consistency amongst Sonic gameplay. So, Sonic Unleashed 2 years later serves as a very radical overcorrection of that gameplay and game development philosophy. And Sonic has kind of been riding these safety guardrails of it being a Sonic only show with one core gameplay style for 14 years. It wasn't until the DLC for Sonic Frontiers, The Final Horizon, came to light that we were able to experience different characters, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy, in 3D planes again. And that's... Man, what an amount of time to go with just the same... With just the same character over and over again. And it kind of gets exhausting after a little bit. Especially after they spent so much time establishing these rich Sonic characters with their own stories to tell, their own gameplay loops and everything. I think while it worked, while it gets the job done for Sonic Unleashed, and while games like Sonic Colors and Sonic Generations are great games in their own right, I think it did a massive disservice to make it Sonic exclusive games. And I'm just super glad that a lot of Sonic's friends are getting the spotlight again. We've actually seen that in 2022's Sonic Dream Team, exclusive, at least as of right now, still exclusive to Apple Arcade. I don't know why they haven't ported it at least to the Nintendo Switch yet, because I got to play it for myself. It actually came out on my birthday of that year, and I had the chance to use my free Apple Arcade subscription code to get a free month of Apple Arcade and experience Sonic Dream Team for myself. It's a fun game. It is genuinely a lot of fun. And the fact that it is locked behind a service that many people are either unfamiliar with or just completely disinterested in is kind of a shame, because Sonic needs more gems available to the public, to the general audience, and Sonic Dream Team really is one of them. So yeah, if someone from Sega Hardlight, the developers behind the game, or just Sega, are seeing this stream, maybe it's the playback, maybe it's live on air right now, I think you guys should really start to consider that. And I say that knowing I have barely double-digit viewers in here, but it's about the journey, not the destination, guys. We're having a really fun time here, and I'm just super glad that everyone's having the time of their life in this stream, apparently, from the sound of it. And it seems like we're really cruising through these levels right now, and I'm starting to think I maybe leveled up the Werehog's strength a little bit too much for how early into the game we're in, because we're kind of destroying everything in our path right now. I'm messing up the occasional quick time event right now, but I am kind of going insane with these QTEs, and I wouldn't even consider anything beyond the combos and strength that we've leveled up to be super game-changing. But yeah, it just goes to show, if you really know what you're doing, Sonic games are really easy and super accessible. It's just a matter of, like, even though Sonic games are designed to be super easy to pick up and play, if you really want to get the best possible experience out of Sonic, there is a bit of a knowledge ceiling to kind of familiarize yourself with, and I think if you really want to experience Sonic games to the best of their ability, there is a little bit of research that goes into best experiencing these Sonic games. Not something that casual players of games really want to hear when they're talking about getting into a game that's different from what they're accustomed to. But I think the reality really is that Sonic is just one of those franchises. But hey, what are you gonna do? You know, it's not the end of the world. Damn. Okay. Laid a haymaker on me. All right. But you know what? I'm gonna be super honest with you guys. I'm kind of amazed I've been able to yap for as long as I have been yapping for, and I'm shocked that I haven't lost my voice entirely yet. This is pretty impressive. Almost as impressive as me missing that slow as fuck quick time event. How about that? Hey! Why am I still playing this game? Because it's a fun game. You guys should totally check it out. Just like how you've been able to check out the stream. Like, comment, and subscribe as you've been. Yeah, we're gonna unleash. Look at that. Like, this is a mini boss enemy, and in just a couple of combos, we've gone down to critical health. Like how about that shit, you know? Alrighty, yeah, we just kind of annihilated that section. And then we just got our unleash bar back from those little collectibles. Now here we've got the clock tower. Now these are parts of the Werehog stages I really enjoy, because you know what? There are like parts of Sonic's elastic limbs, the whole stretchy arms and everything. In cutscenes, he does tend to pull off some really cool Spider-Man-like acrobatics, and yeah, it's cool to look at. And while the gameplay doesn't entirely live up to that potential, these sections here, like we're climbing this clock tower in Spagonia, these are interesting set pieces. They're slow, not very Sonic-like, so yeah, like they take their time, but again, if you know how to navigate these and go about it fast, they're interesting, they're engaging, and if you look for shortcuts here, you can really cut corners. Like I'm not taking the time to just get my footing on these. I'm really just swinging as is, and what is it? If you cut corners, yeah, there are animations built around this. Like Sonic's doing these cool flips. You never see Sonic the Werehog doing these flips normally unless you really start moving fast pace and cut corners here. A lot of people that are going to play this game for the first time, yeah, they're going to be more methodical, take their time. But someone who's experienced, get someone who has experience with this game behind the sticks. And yeah, you're going to still move like you're playing a Sonic game. She wear on my hog till I unleash. Tom, truer words haven't been said since Kendrick Lamar performed at the Super Bowl. Okay? What you just spat there were bars, I gotta say. Alright, so now we're gotta actually manipulate the clock itself. And you know what? I really like how continuity is formed into levels like this. So, for example, in this level, we're manually adjusting the clock hand here, right? So now that we've fixed the clock hand, when we return to Spagonia later in the day, for the daytime stage in the game, the clock hand and the clock tower are going to be fully functional from the outside once we explore during the day. It's super micro details like that a lot of people really won't notice, especially in a game where you move as fast as you do, like in Sonic. But it's super niche details like that you really begin to appreciate. Oh yeah, Tom, I got you smiling like that in chat. Yeah, I see you. I wish you can just see me. If only the camera worked like it's supposed to, right? If only. But no, I guess that would just be asking too much of the Elgato software or something like that, supposedly. Now, I want to get this enemy out of the way of where the goal ring is going to appear, because I want to be able to pick up the XP that's going to drop from this critical kill. And yeah, instead of a goal ring, we have a key that's appeared here. Now there is, obviously this is one half of a key. The other half we're going to get during the daytime stages. And then those two halves are essentially going to unlock the Gaia Temple key to restore this continent's Chaos Emerald. Another Werehog S rank. How about that, huh? And yeah, we collected almost all the medals in this. And that's still only just under 15 minutes. If you know what you're doing, these levels really do fly by. Truth be told. Let's see. I'm going to increase our combat just to there. And then upgrade our strength again because I really can't help myself, it seems. And then I'm going to give more to our Unleash bar. But yeah, if you guys are having a great time, remember to like this stream. I really appreciate every single one of you guys tuning into this. This has been so much fun. Even though I'm sure some of you guys are just supporters of the channel, because I talk about all kinds of stuff here. I talk about Metroid. We've been talking a lot about the Nintendo Direct stuff that's been coming up and everything. There's a lot I want to cover, and Sonic is a very niche subject in general, and it's probably going to be a niche on this platform. So I'm sure that a lot of you guys are just here to show your support for the streaming program, and maybe you guys aren't paying attention to the video and the gameplay that you're seeing itself, and you guys probably have me alt-tabbed. Regardless, I'm incredibly appreciative that you guys are just taking the time out of your day, whether you're watching this directly or you're just listening to this. It genuinely means the world to me, guys. And all I can really say from behind a screen is express my gratitude and say thank you. Did you guys miss the battle music? Oh man, what a great contrast to this super heartfelt, somber ass commentary we were given. Now we got this frantic ass combat music again playing here. Man, I hope you guys missed it, because I sure as fuck didn't. But you know, it's very short-lived. It's about to end in just about 15 seconds because I can't stand it. There we go. Mission cleared. Yeah, howl at the moon, Sonic. What you know about howling? I love when Sonic looks up at the moon eventually and he's like, it's howling time. And then he goes, ow, to the sky. It's one of my favorite parts of the game, personally.
What was I just doing? Hey!
See, look at that Spider-Man ass shit! You can't experience shit like that until 2018 Spider-Man for the PlayStation 4, remastered for the PlayStation 5, and now on PC. And not even related to Sonic, but like, man, that would be so cool to experience in the gameplay. And that would still keep fast-paced momentum-based platforming a thing. So yeah, we can totally revisit this at some point. What is this dude's obsession with cucumbers and sliced bread? That camera is incredible. I don't think it's the camera. I think it's just the flash photography blinding people. But yeah, as I was mentioning earlier, guys, the purple haze that shows up around some locals in continents. Now what we can do is that if we go up to people in public, we can just flash camera them. I need to make sure that I added camera after that, so it didn't sound problematic. But if they have the purple haze around them, we could actually use the camera flash to stun them, and then we would enter in that combat mission style, kind of like what we just experienced then. And you get a little extra goodies. You mainly just get additional experience points. I think you'll maybe get a couple of dialogue bars every once in a while, but besides that, you really don't get much out of them. So it's not super encouraged to do them, at least not in my opinion. But I believe that we are to head here next. I'm probably wrong. I'm willing to bet money, actually, that I'm wrong, but who knows? We're gonna go through this journey together, okay? So let's just explore over here. And yeah, again, ice physics. Ice physics, yeah! Shout out ice physics. Ice physics. Almost sounded horrible out of context, my apologies. But Yeah, shout out this continent. I'm not a fan of the ice physics. I mean, okay, let's be real. Who actually enjoys ice physics in video games? Like do people legitimately get enjoyment out of playing a game where they get familiar with they get familiar with the physics of their character and the terrain and the traction and how their character moves, and then all of a sudden you're brought into a region, a portion of the game where all of a sudden you have to not necessarily throw out those concepts. You're like you don't throw those concepts out the window necessarily, but they're modified to a fairly radical degree where it just throws you off balance for a large portion of the game. Now, obviously, if a game was incredibly predictable throughout the entire experience, yeah, sure, yeah, that can get stale. And it's awesome to keep players on their toes for something that's unique and interesting. But I don't know, like ice physics is an example of something that's not really like it doesn't surprise the player in a way that's unique and engaging, but rather in a way that you just like where you have the player just asking, man, when is this over? I can't stand this. But now that we've got this gate open, we can access it with Sonic during the day. And there's actually a couple of areas here. We see that there's a boss gate over here, but there's this wall that we can't seem to climb. However, there's lasers here that I'm stupid enough that I didn't close with the stomp ability. So we close off these, get his pulley system over here, and if we go over here, we can see there's spring shoes over there. Spring shoes, well, what does that do? Does that give me a higher jump? Does it give me a double jump of sorts? The answer to both of that is no. What it gives us, once we clear off the lasers over here, and then once I collect this moon medal, doing a lot of this completely out of order. I missed the book because I hate reading. We've got the wall jump shoes. So now we can just go and hug a wall directly. And just like that, we're maneuvering. How about that? Mobility 100, guys. So yeah, now we can collect this moon medal as we're technically supposed to. Fuck you. Let's see. Now, they want us to collect this using the werehog, but I don't feel like changing the time of day. Fuck. You know what? I give up. I give up. I'm done. So now that we've got that, so yeah, you may think, oh, okay, we're in Spagonia. We just got the wall jumping shoes. There's probably a rooftop run Spagonia level for us to go into now that we got the wall jump shoes. Well, up here is where that level would be. That level is not available to us right now because what we have to do is that now that we collect the boots, we leave this village. And now we go back to the professor. And then we talk to the professor. And now we talk about stuff with the camera and everything. And now we found another location all of a sudden in Chunnan. Souvenirs, never mind. Me when I lie. I'm good. Let's leave. Now let's return to the village. And then we return to the world map. And now we go to the new region over here. Chunnan. Now, we're supposed to go here at night. I believe we can do this during the day. I might be mistaken, but let's find out. But while we're also running around over here, we also want to remember to collect the medals, because again, that does affect what levels you're able to access and your overall progression of the game. And it seems like we're actually making a good amount of progress on collecting these medals and getting through the levels. So, the Elder hasn't come back. They say that he left for the village to find our missing treasure. This is one of the few instances where, like how we said at the beginning of the game, you have to talk to people in the village. So, for example, I want to go to the level select area. This guy will stop us from going in. He says that we are forbidden because the Elder is missing, so hereby the continent is considered dangerous. We have to speak to this particular woman, Lynn. Welcome to Chunnan. What's wrong? Well, the Elder is missing and our treasure has gone missing. We have to offer to find the Elder. What's the treasure? Actually, I don't care about the treasure. I'm a hero, so just leave it to me. So now we go back up the stairs, we talk to this guy again, and then we basically tell them, nope, we got Lynn's permission. Eat my ass. We're gonna go play the game as intended. Hell nah! Hell nah! Hell nah! So yeah, now we've got another upgrade up there. It seems like you kind of just get sandblasted with these upgrades at a certain portion of the game, as in this portion of the game. But here we have the air boost shoes. So now I'm gonna drain out the boost just to show you guys exactly what this is. So in Sonic Unleashed, the homing attack is assigned to the X button. And so is the boost when you're on the ground. That means that when you're in the air, you're usually doing an air dash to do the homing attack. But now that we have the air boost, if we collect some rings and fill up our boost gauge, if we were to jump in the air, we now do the boost in the air. So this kind of leads to a little bit of confusion. For the love of God, if you want to use the homing attack, don't use it unless you for sure have a homing attack reticle on the screen. Because from this moment onward, it is now going to be incredibly difficult to differentiate between doing an air boost and doing a homing attack. And that is exactly why one of the most popular mods for this game for Unleash Recompile is reassigning the homing attack to the A button to have an air dash, because it throws off a lot of players, justifiably so. Now, before we move on with some progress here, there is another thing I want to show off here. This is a very popular glitch amongst Sonic Unleashed players. You see that there is a ring of rings here. Now, if we were to boost into these rings, the entire ring is going to disappear. Look at that, huh? Now, you may notice, if I keep going through this loop, there are still rings present. For whatever reason, Sonic Team did not properly code these rings. Even worse than that, when these rings reappear, their value is actually multiplied. Hopping off for the night, looking forward to the future content from Zedlocks. Peace out. Thanks so much for tuning in for the stream, Matt. I really appreciate it. I hope to see you in the next stream, and I hope you're looking forward to the video coming out this coming Tuesday. Going back to the value of these rings. If you were to continue to boost into them, over time, these rings are going to constantly respawn, and their value is going to greatly increase. Now, the rings that you collect in these level select hubs also apply to the rings that you stock up when you go back to the continent's main village. When you go back to the continent's main village, all the rings that you've collected and stocked up are going to carry into that village inventory. So you can literally acquire thousands upon thousands of rings from this one little area, and then this allows you to obviously go to the store, buy all the antiques in the gift shop and souvenirs, and then get all those for Professor Pickle. And then you can even buy as many chili dogs as your heart desires and stock up on your XP and make Sonic an overpowered demon from Hedgehog Hell. Now, is that something I'm going to be doing here? No, we're already at 650 rings. That is way more than you would need in any reasonable level. And just to show off, this is the demonstration area for the air boost over here. Now, we don't have the Chunnan level accessible to us yet because we're going a little bit out of order of the game's narrative. But I just wanted to collect this the sun medal here. And then if I drop down here, we can follow this trail of rings and run back across the water, no problem. Now, what do we have to do instead? What we have to do instead is hit this hourglass, and we're about to experience the transformation cutscene. There are several variations of what this cutscene could be like. It could be a spinning panorama shot of Sonic transforming, or he just grabs his hand and starts tweaking out like he just went to. I'm not gonna finish that joke actually. But yeah, there's a unique amount because of the PlayStation 3's processing inferiority compared to the Xbox 360. Only the 360 version has access to these cutscenes. So if you were to play on the PlayStation 3, you just kind of get this glorified GIF of a sun metal transforming into a moon metal. Pretty lame. It's essentially a GIF loading screen. Not very engaging or exciting in any degree. But yeah. But yeah, that's another cool little interesting thing you can experience this. I did not mean to press that. Oops. But yeah, that's just another example of the panning shot you can do. It seems as though the software kind of tweaks out here during these loading screens. So be sure not to spam your mouse click during these transformation cutscenes because it may cause your game to crash. Oh my god, I hope that didn't come up in the microphone. I just cracked my entire neck. But yeah, this is Chunnan at night, especially. Another amazing example of this game's vibrant and killer soundtrack. You guys should absolutely listen in to this game's soundtrack. It's on Spotify. Just look up Sonic Unleashed OST, and you'll find a playlist with the official soundtrack. It is a really great time. This will probably be one of the last 2 levels that we play for tonight's stream because it's already almost 10 p.m. Eastern time. And we've been playing a considerable amount of this game. We're actually, believe it or not, we are slowly reaching the halfway point of Sonic Unleashed. We are, I know it seems like we've only been playing for just about 2.5 hours, but yeah, like at the end of the day, Sonic games are still pretty short. For practicing for this stream and everything, I played through the entirety of it, and also just to see how it performed on Unleashed Recompiled. And with skipping all of the cutscenes, the game was only about 6 to 7 hours. It's really not a super long game. And I think that's just another incentive as to what makes Sonic games so widely accessible. The fact that they're short, they don't take up too much of your time if you're willing to just commit said time. But yeah. Man, dude, this game's soundtrack, I can't get over it. And this is why you really want to level up Sonic the Werehog's combat features as quickly as you can, because yeah, a lot of it is just mashing a lot of X and Y in certain combinations, but it makes the spectacle of the combat much more varied and just more fun to look at, because a lot of what makes modern Sonic so charming is the fact that Sonic looks cool while he's doing a bunch of different unique moves, and I think Sonic Unleashed does pull that off very well. It just doesn't help that we've kind of made Sonic so painfully strong at this point that just a simple 1-2 jab gets the common enemy down to a critical status, and then it's just the same 1-2 quick time events. And holy shit! That was a little overkill, if you ask me. And yeah, even with these power buffs, one single punch is enough to send enemies into the critical hell scape at this point. But yeah, we got so this is an alternate path. So when it comes to the Werehog level design, you're not really going to see a lot of circumstances where the levels branch off into 2 different ways and then meet back in the middle to a major focal point of the stage. Now that's a core element of common Sonic level design ideology, the fact that there are usually multiple branching pathways. And when it comes to the 2D games on the Genesis, it's usually 3 different pathways, a middle ground for the people that are just experiencing the game or new to it, and then there's a lower ground for people that are more into the Explore type, or maybe are just having a harder time with adapting. And then there's the upper path. The upper path, of course. I mean, I really wish I had B-roll. This is one of the negatives of doing a live stream. I don't have B-roll as a visual aid to help explain, and it also doesn't help that the camera's not freaking working. Shout out Elgato Software again. But yeah, there's a huge array of branching pathways. And that's what makes Sonic level design so unique, and that's what makes the replay value of this franchise just so high. Unfortunately, Sonic Unleashed during the nighttime stages, at least, isn't super rich on that. Now, don't get me wrong, there are still shortcuts in levels. We're actually going to come across a shortcut like that very soon. It should actually be coming up right after this combat section, where it's not exactly a whole different branching pathway. This is probably the most unique alternate path in any Werehog stage of this game, but it's usually nothing more than maybe about 45 seconds to a minute of a tangent before you get brought back onto the main pathway of where you're heading. And that's more of a common ideology that's been picked up with level design like Sonic Forces and the cyberspace levels of Sonic Oh, excuse me, I got the hiccups there for a second, of Sonic Frontiers. Unfortunately, that's not... oh, shit. This is one of the worst parts. This is one of the worst camera cutoffs of the game. Because you land on this platform that will begin to sink into the water. And it cuts away to this very dangerous area. Where... you know what, that actually leads into another important issue with Sonic the Werehog. You guys may have noticed that as we're platforming, and as I'm jumping right now, Sonic doesn't have a drop shadow as he's platforming. I think that this was unfortunately just a sign of the times when it came to the lighting engine that was both compatible with the Hedgehog engine as well as just like the technical limitations in 2008. Well, I wouldn't even say that because obviously drop shadows are a thing in platformers and 3D platformers. It's a necessity to have successful 3D platformers have drop shadows. But I guess because of the ambition with the lighting engine for the Hedgehog engine in 2008, they couldn't make a drop shadow work with the dynamic lighting as well. I don't know the technical aspects to that degree, unfortunately, but that's just kind of the logic that my mind goes to in that regard. It's unfortunate, but I'm hoping that it's something that maybe modders can fix with Unreleased Recompiled. Now, here is the branching alternative path. You guys see that no matter what, we kind of got to do this. Catapult maneuver, but there's a lower path that we can land on at the bottom, but there's also these enemies that we've seen in previous levels we're able to grip onto and stick to higher paths. Now, what this allows us to do is that if we're quick about it, as we were just now, we're able to collect Sun and Moon medals, but also completely skip this otherwise mandatory combat section, as well as these other huts that we're going to be running past. Instead of going through these other combat required huts, we're actually able to run across this dragon road and completely skip about 2 minutes. I would actually say about 2 to 3 minutes of the game's of this level. And in a situation where levels are incredibly long, like in Sonic the Werehog, it's really refreshing and awesome to just have shortcuts like that. We just skipped a massive chunk of this game's this level's third act. And I think level design like that could have been used a lot more in the Werehog's nighttime escapades. But I'm happy that it's something that's still here nevertheless. Now, these are wizards. You want to take these guys out immediately. Wizards are capable of raising enemies' defense as well as restoring a lot of their health. So it's super imperative that you take them out first or as soon as you possibly can. These other guys, these hornets are like wasps. These guys suck. They're probably my least favorite enemy you'll ever come across in the Werehog stages, and that's solely because their AI is designed to matrix dodge almost everything that you throw at them. And I don't understand, no other enemy in the nighttime stages has the evasion coding that these guys have. But for whatever reason, they have it. And I got very lucky there to have gotten around them and managed to kill them off very quickly. But dear God, they are usually super infuriating. Now, we're not done with the level yet. We see the gold ring on the side here, but if we jump over, we can actually grab this ledge over here and collect another moon medal. And actually, if we go over here, there's a pot we can collect here for some unleash gauge. But because we're at the end of the level, it doesn't really matter. And there's a sun medal hanging out over here hidden as well. Nothing over here if we shimmy, unfortunately. But you know, it's all just about exploring your surroundings. I think after a game like Sonic Frontiers, where you're so encouraged to explore everything around you, the Werehog stages are a lot more forgiven for their designs. Less than 9 minutes! Another S rank! How about that? Enemy score alone got us 144,000 points, which is crazy to think about. And you know what? Our strength is already pretty freaking high, if I'm being honest. So let's level up some other stuff in the meantime. Let's bring combat up a little bit, and then let's give our life some love, and then let's give the Sonic part of Sonic some more love. I think that's long overdue. And then we'll do a little more Unleash. And then we'll put 1 level towards Shield. Actually, I'll do 1 level towards Strength. Why not? All right, now this is going to be the last part of the stream. It's our boss fight. Our first nighttime boss fight. My Apple Watch is telling me to stand, but I can't, babe. I'm playing Sonic. I'm sorry, wait. I just received, like, the goofiest email. Okay, got it. Alright, so, the Dark Gaia Phoenix. Very interesting, concept. We were introduced to this in the very tail end of the last level we were just in. But before we, I'll explain the concept as we're slowly collecting these medals, because, again, it's super important that you collect these medals at every instance that you can. So yeah, there's going to be these waves of fire that the Phoenix shoots out. You want to climb to the top of these towers and get these water buckets, and you want to be able to essentially deflame this Phoenix, and then you want to climb up and beat the ever-loving shit out of this bird. Now, because we are so powerful, we kind of just completely destroyed the first bar here. What usually is supposed to happen is that orange threshold bar in the middle of the health is supposed to prompt a quick time event where you enter the cinematic where you proceed to grapple around the Phoenix and then have this awesome spectacle of beating the absolute crap out of this bird. Unfortunately, I put a little bit too much strength into Sonic just now, to a point where, oh damn, to a point where it's, where we gotta be a little bit careful on what moves we're showing off, without, what in the, whoa, okay, alright, I still want to be able to show off the cinematics of, what is happening right now? This guy's dodging every move I throw at him. Can this water respawn, please? Woo! Yeah, and as you can see, you will get the piss kicked out of you. Here, now let's collect a little shield for some defense. Outside of these power-ups that you find in the stage, in the stages and boss fights, unfortunately, you're not gonna have any stats that necessarily increase your defense or your pain tolerance to enemy combat. Unfortunately, I wonder, this guy's gonna fly straight at me. I wonder if I can hit him with this. Hey, I could actually. That was pretty cool. Never been able to try that. That was pretty unique. Now, are you gonna stop in the middle or here? Okay. Now, I'm gonna just hit you as light as I possibly can, because I don't want to hurt you. There we go. Perfect. Now we got this awesome cinematic. And the cinematics are all kind of the same for each wave, but they're still awesome to watch. Like, Sonic just goes in on this guy. And also, for some reason, with the Soap Shoe mod, yeah, the lighting is a little weird with the model, so the Soap Shoes appear very green. It's very prominent in regions like Chunnan and I believe Empire City, which is like the New York, America equivalent region of the game. Believe me, you'll know it when you see it. But now that we got all the medals and everything, I'm kind of just, oh shit, damn. A very good benefit of the shield. This is why you upgrade the shield. It's the amount of times that you'll just be able to block enemy. Ah! Oh my god! Man, I really hope that I don't die to this boss. That would be really sad. What? How did that hit me from so far away? There we go. Now, this guy's probably going to stop either on the tallest tower or in the center. Yeah, it was the tallest one. All right, I'm going to see how much of a charged hit I can get to knock this guy out. Wait, are you serious? What? Holy! Dear God. Alrighty. Well, I glitched out the boss meter. I guess because I didn't do as many QuickTime events and I took a lot of damage. Got an A rank on that. But yeah. Wow, I got no XP. This is awesome.
You all right?
Yes, thank you.
This civilian is also voiced by the same voice actor as Dr. Eggman. Mike Pollock. Hey, we restored another piece of the planet. How about that? See, like, look at that. That's cool. That's pretty freaking cool. And look at that. The Phoenix is now relieved of Dark Gaia's evil influence.
It appears he's come back to his senses.
I see. I'll bet your job is to guard the Chaos Emerald Temple. You must have gone berserk when the emeralds lost their power.
Yeah, thank you, exposition.
Well, I'm glad you're back. Want some chocolate?
Unbelievable! Is he gonna take that? He took the whole bar! How is Chip gonna offer chocolate to anyone else now?
So long.
Actually, I don't know if he offers chocolate to anyone else for the rest of the game, now that I think about it. That might have just been the last piece of chocolate Chip ever has.
Your dinner, Doctor.
Thank you. What's the progress on the Dark Gaia-powered Eggman Land construction system?
What a gigantic hoagie.
Complete.
Dear
Progress is
God.
significantly behind projected timetable. Presumed cause of delay is Dark Gaia's dispersion across the globe.
Oh, of all the lazy, here I go to the trouble of waking that Dark Gaia thing up, and it causes me nothing but delays.
Dark Gaia had yet to reach maturity within the planet's core, ergo it was still incomplete at the time of its awakening, ergo it was unable to sustain its own weight upon its release, ergo it scattered around the world.
I don't want to hear about its weight issues. So what if I gave it a bit of a sudden awakening? This is unacceptable.
Ergo, this is the repercussion of your hasty actions.
What was that? I'm having a bad enough day as it is. First that professor runs off with the Gaia manuscripts, and now the planet's coming back together.
Yeah, this guy hates world peace, bro. Dr. Eggman is insane, and you guys may have mentioned, you guys may have noticed, sorry, that he's talking about the construction system of Eggman Land. Now, in the opening CG cutscene, he's talking about how Eggman Land will finally come to be. This is foreshadowing for later, and it has been something that has been conceptualized since 1999.
Anyway, what's the status of the remaining temples of Gaia?
Eggman forces have currently secured all locations. Defensive preparations are nearly complete.
That'll take care of Sonic for now, which leaves the problem of Dark Gaia. It'd be difficult to collect every piece.
Did you figure out who the Green Gobbler is?
In conventional wisdom,
No.
advice, the journey of
I don't think I did.
nobody likes a whiner.
Isn't there a more
I-
efficient way?
and it's crazy because I'm asked this question constantly, and the people I ask for context won't tell me what it is, and every time I look it up, okay, there's the industrial clog dissolver gel, the Green Gobbler, but is that what everyone refers to? Is it the Green Goblin from Spider-Man? Because that's the second thing that comes up. So which one is it? I'd love to know, honestly. It's frustrating that I don't have the answer, unfortunately. But yeah, what I am going to do, if we take a look at status, we have nothing. Wow, how about that? So really quickly, before we wrap up tonight, we're gonna head to the world map. And we're going to head back to Spagonia. Because we love having to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's so awesome. Yeah, just literally just air dashing your way through the town. That is the fastest way to make your way through things. So, yeah. So yeah, now they're talking about strange robot sightings here and in Chunnan. So now we kind of have the option of doing Spagonia during the day here or Chunnan during the day. But that, I believe, is going to be something that we are going to do next time. Alrighty, so it appears as though we have made it to the end of our night. So guys, I really just want to thank you so much for tuning into this stream. This has meant so much to me, to getting back into live streaming and to seeing the support through the chat, through the viewership, and just being able to yap for a couple of hours, a few hours even at this. This has been so much fun. It's been so much fun. Sonic over here on the side is in shock. I can't even read Chip's facial expression over here, but it's been a really great time, and I've got you guys to thank for that, for your guys' overwhelming support, and amongst just you guys are awesome, and there's not much else I can say, other than at 8:45, April 2nd, you guys should totally tune in to the Nintendo Direct stream. I'll be doing it on this end, and we can react to it and find out about the future of Nintendo together. But tune in this coming Tuesday. There is going to be another video out that even talks about loading up to that Nintendo Direct, guys. With all of that said, This has been Sonic Unleashed Recompiled. Here's Spagonia. We will return one day. Probably sometime very soon, because this was a lot of fun and I think people had a good time. So until then, I will see you guys in the video on Tuesday. Take care of yourselves.